Hi everyone, a very good evening to all of you and welcome to the course information session. We are Student Support Services, a branch under the Undergraduate Academic Council, and it is our aim to provide you with all the necessary information that you'll require as you progress into your sophomore year, where there are a lot of changes that you'll come across compared to your first year. Can someone please confirm if my screen is visible?
Yeah, it's loading slowly.
All right,
Yeah, it's
great.
visible.
Okay. So before we begin, I'd just like to introduce myself. I am Shravya Suresh and I am the Institute Secretary, Academic Affairs and Head of Student Support Services. And along with me, I have my Student Support Services team of academic coordinators, who most of you might know already. Have Kadambari Bhide, Neil Rambia, Sara Atnurkar, and Tanish Kadam. And do familiarize yourself with all of them because they will be there to help you with all academic queries that you have as you transcend into your second year. So the aims of this session majorly are to cover all the changes that you see as you move from your first year to your second year and your journey beyond. And as listed here, you can see, firstly, obviously, and quite importantly, we cover the changes in your new curriculum. I'll mainly highlight the overarching differences and new elements that you will come across. And beyond that, we will explore some newer concepts such as minors and honors, electives, and other such courses, and also touch upon the registration process and academic standing, which helps or rather categorizes you accordingly to help you choose your courses and other minors and honors ahead. And definitely we'll touch upon the branch change as well, because that is a pretty buzzing topic among all of you. And at the end, we will witness some reviews by various seniors who have pursued and completed or are currently pursuing various minors and honors. So let's begin by overviewing the new curriculum. So as all of you are aware, you are the, should I say, guinea pigs for an entire curriculum change as you enter second year especially. So as you can see written on this slide, so the aim of your current BTech curriculum or your dual degree curriculum is this. You have to complete a total of 8 to 10 department core courses in your 4 or 5 years here at IIT Bombay. And they are going to be completed by the 5th or your 6th semester, which is basically the end of your third year. After which your 4th year is generally mostly going to be left up for you to take elective courses. And we'll come to electives later on in this presentation as well. So you have about 10 to 15 department electives which are prescribed by your respective departments, which you'll have to complete. And in addition to that, as you all are familiar with the concept of HASMED, so you will have to complete a certain minimum number of HASMED courses, and there are a set number of baskets which you will have to choose your HASMED courses from. And in addition to that, this is a new feature which is common for all departments. In your second year, you will have to take a compulsory course on AI and ML. So this is a course which will be prescribed. It may or may not be a common course, interdisciplinary, but this is a course which you all will have to go through in your second year. And you also have HASMED core courses which are lined up for you as it won't be HS101, it will be called EC101 because economics is now a new department of its own. So you have an economics course in your third semester mostly, and you'll have a design thinking course by the design center, the Institute Design Center in your fourth semester. And again, 7th and 8th semester, meaning your fourth year, will be left up entirely for you to take up electives to complete your degree based on the number of credits you require. An additional feature which I thought was worth mentioning is that a lot of effort has been put into working towards providing internship opportunities for dual degree students at the end of their fourth year. So that should hopefully come into play as well. A little bit of good news for dual degree students. Now, getting into more specifics about your curriculum. So there are about, so each semester would ideally have around 30 credits, which assuming each course is of 6 credits, you have about 5 core courses mainly overall in each semester that you have starting now from your second year. And the comprising courses which you have to complete, various types of courses you'll have to complete to earn your degree in the end are listed as follows. So you obviously have to complete a set number of department core courses which are prescribed by your departments, and they cover about 50 or 60% of the total number of credits which you will have to complete. So they occupy a major portion of your credits. And beyond the core courses which are compulsory for you, you have to complete a certain number of prescribed department electives. And these electives don't include your, so BTP stands for BTech project. We'll come to that a little ahead. And these department electives are prescribed by the department and they don't include the BTech project. These are separate elective courses which you are required to complete. Okay? And apart from this, either you can take a BTech project or you can complete another set of department electives. You can do courses if you don't want to do a project, and you can complete the other required number of credits for the same. And besides this, you will have department specific laboratory courses which you'll have to complete. And in addition to that, owing to the spirit of liberalization and generalization as well, there are some courses which cater to engineering, sciences and skills, sort of broad scope courses which you will have in your curriculum as you go ahead. And keeping to that, like these courses, you have HASMED. You've already encountered some HASMED courses in your first year. You will have a couple of more HASMED courses going ahead. And you will encounter HASMED core courses as well as HASMED electives, both of which are required for you to complete in order to earn your degree in the end. You'll have HASMED core courses which are required to complete, and HASMED electives where you might have a choice to choose among some basket of courses to complete. Besides these, you also have a couple of more different type of electives, which are STEM electives, which obviously cater to science and technology more. And we'll see another slide ahead about the STEM electives. And these also have a prescribed number of credits which you require to complete, and these are prescribed by your departments as well. This last section, which is called flexible electives, lives up to its name. These are set 30 credits for which you are free to take whatever kind of courses which you want to explore, which is why it's called a flexible elective. So 30 credits worth of electives which you have to complete, and you are free to pick whichever kind of courses you want for this from the given basket of courses. So you have three types of flexible electives from which you can choose from. You have advanced electives, you have interdisciplinary STEM electives, and you have interdisciplinary HASMED electives. We'll again come to electives in a slide further ahead, but I just wanted to draw your attention to this to show you that you have a lot of choice and a lot of opportunity to explore starting from your second year. So your department core as well as exploring beyond your department core make your curriculum very liberal and give you a lot of freedom to find your true interest. Moving on, now let's talk about, so that was the general broad overview of your new curriculum. Again, to be specific, the department specific curriculums will be covered in department specific sections called Sophomore 101, which will be scheduled soon enough. You will be informed soon enough about it. So having told you or informed you about the broad overview of the curriculum that you have, now let's talk about some specific type of opportunities to explore which you will encounter starting from your second year. So the first thing that we come across is a minor. Now, most of you would have heard about minors and honors and electives as general broad categories. So let's now take each of them one by one and discuss them. So what are minors? So minors basically are a sort of a secondary program which you can do alongside your major discipline. And upon completing a certain requirement, you can earn this minor degree in a field which is different from your parent department. So for example, if I am a student from the engineering physics department, I can complete a minor in any other department apart from engineering physics. For example, say maybe the mechanical minor or the computer science and engineering minor. Any other department apart from my physics department, I can do a minor in. Okay? And to complete a minor, you are to complete 30 credits worth of courses. Generally, they are in the form of 5-6 credit courses. Sometimes they can be in the form of 4, 8 credit courses as well. But you require to complete a total of 30 credits or more to earn your minor in a particular department. And each department has their own specific criteria for which you can earn your minor. In some minors, there are a couple of mandatory courses you have to do, and the rest are electives. Some departments have all mandatory courses, while some departments have all electives. So to know more about those, details will be shared later, and you can even access them on the department websites of each specific department. So yes, as mentioned earlier, if you do earn your 30 credits worth of courses, you do get a separate secondary degree along with your major degree when you graduate, and it says that you've completed a minor in this said department. And how, again, to find out which courses are required or which courses you need to take for the minor, you can go to the department websites. And of course, now we have Reservin up as well. And we have uploaded the course baskets and the courses for each minor on Reservin as well. And we will show you Reservin later on in this presentation. But Reservin is also a place where you can find out the courses which you require to complete a minor. Now, another key feature which you will refer to or rely upon a lot starting from your second year is the section on ASC, which is called All About Courses. So ASC, internal ASC to be specific, is basically your go-to place to find out about courses and to see what courses are running, which professor is taking the course, which slots the courses are running in, and to help you decide whether you want to take up the course or if you can take up the course if you're not facing a slot clash when you're trying to take up the course. So you can even see all the running minor courses on ASC, and this is how you navigate to that section. ASC, then you go to the academic tab on the left. You see a tab called All About Courses, under which you see running courses. And once you go to running courses, you'll see a list of departments, and you can select the particular department, select the particular year and the semester to see which courses are running. This is very, very, very useful, and you will find yourself referring to this a lot, like every semester before your registration starts, because it gives you a very good idea about which courses are running and which courses are not running, and who is taking the courses and which slots the courses are running in as well, right? So minors, the process of registration is slightly different. So there are these set minor courses which run in slot number 5. We'll come to the slots a little later, but minor courses are, one second. Minor courses are always open to students through the pre-registration portal. So starting from this year onwards, you'll notice that at the start of every semester, before your registration period, there will be a pre-registration period that opens. And in this pre-registration period, a lot of minor courses are offered to you for you to sign up for. And every semester, you can sign up only for one minor course at a time. So when you, in your pre-registration, basically, it's sort of like a JOSA method of applying. So once you go on to external ASC to apply for pre-registration, you'll see a list of all the minor courses which are running, and you can fill in your priority list for minor courses. You'll say at first priority you want maybe some course, then second priority you'll fill for another course, and so on, and you lock those preferences. And finally, once the pre-registration period ends, you get allotted a minor course based entirely on your major CPI. So yes, CPI does matter for minor course allocation. They allot you minor courses based on your CPI, before which is why you fill a preference order for which minor courses you want. Okay. And for minor courses, if you're taking a minor, the minor CPI gets allotted differently from your major CPI. So currently, all of you might be seeing a CPI on external ASC or whatever. Once you start taking minor courses, your minor CPI gets counted separately. The minor CPI or the minor courses which you take don't get counted in your main CPI. But your main CPI gets used for allotting you minor courses in the pre-registration period. All right? I hope that's clear. If you have any questions at any point of time, feel free to use the chat box. The academic coordinators will be available to address all your queries over there. Let's talk about another concept, another type of program which is different from minors. These are called honors. So honors are again an extra learning component, but the difference from an honors from a minors is that honors can be taken within your parent department. Okay, minors are always taken in a department other than your own, but honors are taken within your parent department. And to complete an honors, you are required to complete 24 credits worth of courses. And in these courses, you can either take electives and complete your honors, or you can even take the BTech project. Some departments do allow it. To figure this out specifically, you can refer to the department websites, or you can refer to Reservin as well. So you require 24 credits to earn your honors degree within your department. So when you get the degree, it will say that you've completed your BTech in so and so department with honors. That's how you finally get your degree if you've completed your honors in your department. Now, when do you take up honors? So there's no formal registration process for honors. You take up electives and such courses within your own department, and as and when you complete 24 credits worth of such courses which you want to use for the honors, you will get your honors degree. And to confirm that you get the honors degree, you will go through a process called tagging of courses, which will come up ahead. Now let's revisit the elective section. As I was mentioning, you have a variety of electives which you can choose from and which you are to complete to earn your BTech degree. So earlier, these electives used to come under two categories, which were institute electives and department electives. Now you have more of a variety or a diversity, say, for these concepts. But again, to relate them to you, we've mentioned the institute and department electives as well to help you understand which department or what kind of course it is. So under the institute electives mainly, you basically have to complete STEM electives and HASMED electives, and these are electives which will be offered from departments other than your own. These won't be courses which are offered by your department. You'll have to take electives offered by other departments to complete these requirements. And again, each department might have a different set of number of electives to complete. So that will be clearly specified in Sophomore 101, which you will be coming across very soon. And among the department electives, you have three different categories, which are advanced electives, interdisciplinary STEM electives, and interdisciplinary HASMED electives, which I had mentioned earlier. So the advanced electives basically are sort of your core departmental electives, which are helping you dive deeper into your own core department. So these again come under your flexible electives category, and you are completely free to choose whichever kind of courses you want in this case. So if you are interested in your core discipline and you want to explore more, then advanced electives are the right choice for you. And these courses might require some core prerequisites, but these core courses you may or may not have already completed by the time you want to take these electives. But yes, do note that some advanced electives might have some core course prerequisites. We have two other interdisciplinary type of electives, which are interdisciplinary STEM and interdisciplinary HASMED. Interdisciplinary STEM shouldn't have any core prerequisites, and both of these are interdisciplinary because they are related to your own parent department in some way or the other. They will be somehow related to your own department. For example, maybe an interdisciplinary STEM elective could be nanotechnology, for example, that could be, or robotics could be an interdisciplinary STEM elective. These kind of STEM electives would be somehow tied to your own department, and you will have to, these are an option for you to take in your flexible electives as well. And this is an interdisciplinary HASMED electives are basically sort of departmental electives which have that aspect of HASMED involved in it, be it humanities, arts, or management, and other kind of different HASMED aspects which are involved with your departmental elective. Maybe it's something like, I'll give you an example. The course maybe could be product design for chemical engineering, maybe. That can be one such example of a HASMED elective, and they generally don't have any core prerequisites as well. So these are your three kind of flexible electives which you have the freedom to choose from to complete those required 30 credits. Moving on, let's now visit another kind of course concept, which again helps you explore. Most of these different kind of courses which I am telling you about are all helping you explore your interests and they never restrict you to your own discipline. So it shows you how liberal and welcoming the entire curriculum at IIT Bombay is, especially for all of you. So the additional learning courses, basically popularly called as ALCs. In our institute, you will find everyone referring to them as ALCs. No one will say the full form. These are courses which you would want to take up mainly out of your own interest. Maybe some topic which you want to explore or you want to just learn about for your interest, or it might benefit you later. And the interesting thing about these courses is that even though you take the course normally and you give the exams, you complete the assignments, and you get the letter grade, these courses will not count to your CPI. So this basically, as you can see, this clearly gives you a very, very good platform to explore a topic which you might not be sure whether it lies in your interest or not. So these kind of courses you generally take up out of your own interest, and you don't have to worry about it being included in your CPI, because as it's an additional learning course according to its name itself, and you take the course with the full same rigor. But again, it doesn't get counted to your CPI, so it gives you that freedom and leverage to explore. But the good thing about these courses is you can later on re-tag them to maybe an elective or a minor course later on. We'll see the concept of tagging soon enough. And yes, these additional learning courses do show up on your transcript. So they will show up saying that you have taken this course as an additional learning course, and they will show the letter grade you've earned it as well. Another concept which you may or may not have heard of are the audit courses. So the difference between ALCs and audit courses is that you do get a grade for audit courses, but you don't have to put the same amount of effort as you do for an ALC. So audit courses basically, and this is if you take this up if you want an introduction or a background understanding of the subject matter which is covered in that course. So you will attend all the classes, you will sit for the exams, but you will have a lighter load for the course. Say that you'll have lesser number of requirements to complete this course. Like maybe if people have 2 quizzes and 2 exams, you might have to just give 1 exam and 1 quiz maybe, or you might have to submit lesser number of assignments. Basically, the requirements of you to complete this course as an audit is lesser than someone who would take this course normally or even as an ALC. And in your entire BTech curriculum, you can only take a maximum of 2 courses as an audit. You can't take more than 2 courses as an audit course. And should you complete the minimum requirements for this course which the instructor prescribes, then you get awarded the AU grade, and this grade does not carry any grade points, so this again does not count in your CPI. Does not count in your CPI, and you also can't re-tag the courses. Again, tagging concept is coming up soon. If all of you could just hold on a little bit longer. I know we've included tagging a lot here. We'll come to the concept of tagging soon enough. Yes, audit courses do not get included in your CPI as well. You do get the AU grade, which certifies that you have audited the course with a lighter load, just for the background understanding. So it's good to take an audit course if you want a broad, brief exposure to the course with slightly lesser effort. And yes, audit courses, of course, do show up on your transcript, the AU grade as well. There's another concept which a lot of you might not be aware about. So there's a concept called sit-through. So sit-through is, I would say, the kind of course you take with the least amount of effort possible. So sit-through, if you're taking a course as a sit-through course, you do not have to register for it at all. You simply need the approval of the faculty who's teaching the course, and you can attend these courses, just sit in the lectures and attend them out of interest, just to learn the subject very, very broadly, or just to maybe attend or learn only certain aspects of the subject which is being taught. And you need to take the instructor's permission to it, and you also have to ensure that if you're trying to take the course as a sit-through course, it doesn't clash with any of your credited courses. So say if you have a core course at 9:30 a.m., you can't take a sit-through course also at 9:30 a.m. That's not allowed. Okay? And yes, you are free to sit in as many courses as you want if you just want to learn it. There's no grade awarded, there's no CPI inclusion because you haven't registered for the course at all. And so this also will not show up on your transcript. So that's the freedom that sit-through courses give you. You can sit for some lectures, you can attend. If you want to give the quizzes also, you can give the quizzes also. That's also not required. Sitting through basically just gives you the freedom to maybe learn something which you want to learn. If you have a free slot or if you have a free 1 hour of class and you feel like you can put it to better use, then sit-throughs could be the one for you. Again, it requires instructor permission, and do think about it before you take opt for a sit-through. Okay, so we've so far covered the broad categories of different types of courses you would encounter in your curriculum or in the second year onwards here at IIT Bombay. So now, to take most of these courses, you require to undergo a procedure called as registration. So registration you all would have definitely encountered in your first year, but in your first year, your courses have already been set for you. You just have to click OK and register for them, right? Starting second year, your registration process is entirely left up to you. Besides the core courses which are pre-listed for you and you require to take them, you are free to take up any sort of electives or any ALCs, any audit courses or other such courses which you want, or any minors and honors as well. As you would have seen, your curriculum is very liberal, so you have a lot of scope to explore. So your registration period is very, very crucial as well. Yes, as mentioned earlier, your registration period is always at the beginning of the semester. And depending on your particular department curriculum, and in some cases, for some courses, you require the approval of your faculty advisor as well. Then you take their approval and you register for courses. So your core courses are already pre-listed for you, and beyond that, if you are required to take any electives or if you want to take some additional learning courses, say, you manually have to register for them on ASC as well, and you sign up for them. And this all has to be done during the set registration period, and generally IIT Bombay is very, very strict about the window of the registration period. So do your best to abide by that registration period and don't delay unnecessarily, right? Also because again, in registration period, some things can be a little uncertain. So try to register as early as you can as soon as the window opens, right? And then to register on internal ASC, as you would have seen in your past 2 semesters, you require to fill a registration form. And from your third semester, another key aspect of registration is number of credits you can take depends entirely on your academic standing. Now, what is academic standing? That's something we'll come to soon enough. Basically, you are categorized into various academic categories based upon your CPI and your performance in the previous courses that you've taken. And based on that, you are given the freedom to take courses up to a particular credit limit. Right? So based on that academic category which you are assigned, you can register accordingly and you have to abide by that as well. Other two concepts which again you might encounter in your registration period before we move ahead are course adjustment and dropping off courses. So course adjustment is basically, it gives you the freedom to edit your registration for the particular semester. So say that maybe you've signed up for a couple of additional learning courses because you want to test and see how the course is, and you're not really sure whether you're still not sure if you want to take it or not. And you sign up for these courses. So generally this course adjustment period is open from the time registration ends till about a week after your semester starts, because this gives you the freedom and it gives you the advantage to attend the first week of classes to decide whether whether you want to continue taking the course or you feel like it might be too much of a load, so you want to leave the course and you want to deregister from it. So say that you've attended the first week of courses of say some ALC, some additional learning course you signed up for, and you realize that it's not in your line of interest, and you want to maybe deregister from the course. Course adjustment allows you to do so without any sort of penalties. So you can easily go to internal ALC again, and you can just deregister from that ALC which you had taken up if you're not keen. Or maybe if you want to register for another course, because you feel like you have the time and you will be able to commit to a course and you found it very interesting, then you can even register for a new course in this course adjustment period. Basically, this course adjustment period gives you the liberty to experience some classes for 1 week and then finalize your registration of what courses you're going to take for that semester. Right? So again, students can delete or add one or more courses after your registration based upon your experience in the first week. Some courses may or may not require the permission of your faculty advisor, and whenever it requires your faculty advisor's permission, it's always mentioned on internal ASE, so don't have to worry about that. All right. And yes, we'll come to the credit limits again. As mentioned here, there are some credit limits which are to be met or should not be exceeded, which we'll come to soon enough when we discuss academic standing. And for all students in every semester, the minimum number of credits which you have to complete are 18. So you can't register for anything less than 18 credits. You have to register for at least 18 credits every semester. That then mostly gets covered by registering for your core courses, but I still felt the need to mention this here to specify it. All right, so now let's talk about dropping of courses. So this always happens after your course adjustment deadline. Course adjustment allows you to add and delete courses, but dropping of courses allows you only to drop some courses. So suppose you've adjusted your curriculum or you've started experiencing and taking the courses, and then you realize that maybe your academic load is too heavy and you think that you might perform better in your core courses, especially if you maybe dropped a couple of electives or deregistered from a couple of additional learning courses or any other additional courses that you've taken. So in that case, dropping of courses comes to your rescue. So in these cases, there's a window which is open till a maximum a little after your mid-sem, in which you can log on and you can drop the courses or essentially deregister from the courses. And there's a set window within which you can do so. If you do so within that window, you get a W grade and nothing gets affected beyond that. But if you deregister or drop a course after that deadline, you get a DR grade. DR grade literally means the drop grade, and that shows up on your transcript as well. So if you, again, reiterating, if you drop the course within the deadline of dropping courses, it results in a W grade, which basically means you've withdrawn from the course, which again has no effect on your academic standing. Then for dropping of courses, you might require permission from your faculty advisor as well. And as mentioned, the last date is generally about 20 to 30 days after your mid-sem, because that would have given you a significant understanding of whether you'll be able to handle the academic load. So as I was mentioning earlier, starting from your second year, especially course slots hold a great amount of importance for all of you. Currently in your first year, you would have been attending courses in various hours, say from 9:30 to 10:30, then 10:30 to 11:30, then in the afternoon from 2 to 5, you might have had a lab. So starting from your second year, course slots hold a great amount of importance, especially because in cases where you are choosing electives or choosing any additional courses, you have to ensure that your two courses do not clash in the same slot. Okay, so here's an example that we've added over here. So this is the course code and this is the slot. Now in the next slide, I will show you which slot is for which time, but this is an example. Slot 4 basically means Monday, Tuesday and Thursday at these various different times. Okay, and you might recall that in your first year, you might have had one course in the mornings on 3 different days, Monday, Tuesday and Thursday at like maybe if Monday's course was from 8:30 to 9:30, then Tuesday was from 9:30 to 10:30, and then Thursday was maybe 11:30 to 12:30, right? So these are basically your courses were put in particular slots, and accordingly, as you can see, this is an example of a course being put in slot 4. They are at these timings on these different days, right? Again, internal ASE helps you a lot over here because internal ASE shows you every detail about the course code, the instructor, the venue of the class, and the slots in which it's running as well. And sometimes you might encounter some divisions also. So this is where internal ASE helps you. And this is the page of the slot pattern. And this is something, do refer to this frequently to understand, because starting from now on, you'll see a lot of people referring to slots as just by their number, saying slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 12. and so on. So this is a great way to help you. Refer to this table whenever you are planning your slots or discussing your courses. So you can see slot 1 has three different slots in the week. So you have Monday 8:30 to 9:30, then you have 9:30 to 10:25, and then Thursday you have one slot here. Like that, you have slots 1 to 15. And in addition, you have this X slot. The X is generally allotted for tutorials, as you would have seen in your first year. And these slots are generally allotted in case any minors have any tutorials which have to be taken. All right. So from now on, when you look on internal ASC, or professors might also just tell you that, okay, my slot is running in the slot number this. So refer to this table to understand which slot and which timing they're talking about, so you can easily map and understand when all you have those classes. And with respect to slot clashes, basically I mean is, if suppose you have a core course running in slot 1, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at these times, and there's an elective which runs in slot 1, then you can't sign up for the elective running in slot 1, because ASC will not allow you to sign up for an elective which is clashing with your core course. All right, that's what I meant by slot clashes, and that's why it's very important to always check the slot a course is running before you sign up for it, because you can't sign up in slots when courses are clashing, right? So again, this table is very, very important. Keep this handy with you, right? Now let's talk about academic standing finally. So as mentioned earlier, depending on your CPI from now on and your performance in all your previous semesters, you will be categorized into various categories, and you'll be able to see these categories on external ASC whenever you log in now, if you get your CPI for the first year. So there are 6 categories primarily under which you can be categorized. So for category 1 students are students as listed here. They have not faced any backlogs in the first year, and they have a CPI greater than or equal to 8. And such students of category 1 can take a maximum number of 54 credits in every semester. Again, this is what I was mentioning, that every category of students has a cap on the total number of credits that you can take. Okay, so category 1 students can take maximum of 54 credits. Similarly, category 2 students are those who have a CPI lesser than 8, but they have no backlogs, no FRDX, DR, or W in their previous semesters. Okay, so these students can take a maximum of 48 credits in any semester. The category 3 students are those who've received at least one FRDX, W, or DR in a core course, and either 0 or 1 FR or DX in some other elective or ALC in any of their previous 2 semesters. These students can register for a maximum of 48 credits. Previous 2 semesters basically means that if a student in their 3rd semester is in category 3, then by category 5, if they perform well, by the 5th semester, if they perform well and they clear their backlog, then their category can change again. That's why it says category 3 is they refer to your previous 2 semesters. Okay. Category 4 is if the student has received at least one FRDX WDR and more than one FRDX in other electives or ALCs in the previous 2 semesters, they also can take maximum of 48 credits. Category 5 students are those who have not earned the minimum of 18 credits which are required in any of the previous 2 semesters. Note that in these categories, previous 2 semesters is mentioned, which means that students have the opportunity to change their category if they perform well in the next 2 semesters from which their category currently is noted. All right. So category 5 students can take up to 30 credits, and category 6 is an important category, which is the Academic Rehabilitation Program, also known as ARP. Category 6 students are those who have accumulated at least 36 credits worth of FRs or DXs in core courses. Basically, they have unfortunately not been able to complete at least 36 credits worth of their core courses so far, for which they are given special attention under this ARP program, and their limiting number of courses is left to 24. And students who enter this program are paid special attention by each department, and they are helped out so that within the next semester or the next 2 semesters, they're able to exit the ARP program and continue as regular students. Now let's come to the major concept, which I think a lot of you are asking about. It's the concept of tagging courses. So currently, you don't have to worry about retagging courses per se just yet, because that comes towards the end of your degree. But it's important to understand the concept of tagging courses. So firstly, let me just clarify that retagging courses will not increase your CPI. So don't just change the tags of courses hoping you want to increase your CPI based on the grades that you've got, all right? There's a common misconception that we face every year. So I wanted to clarify it before I explained the concept. So basically, a course tag is sort of the designation of a course to explain what kind of course it is. So say currently you've done, say, your first year courses, right? Those all are currently your core courses. So core courses have a tag C. So basically a course like PH112 for you is a core course. So the tag of the course is a core course. Then say that maybe you take a minor course later, so the tag of that course will be a minor course. That's basically what all these tags mean. So you've completed, say, your MA 119, MA 111 and all currently are your core courses. So their tags are basically core courses, all right? So the tag of a course basically aims to show what kind of course it is, whether it's a core course or a minor course or an honors course or an elective or an additional learning course. Those are what your tags are. Those are what your course tags are. Now, IIT Bombay gives you the freedom to change the tags of some courses towards the end of your degree, which is what the process of tagging is called, and retagging. Okay, so you have a tagging window that opens towards the end of your BTech curriculum. There are two windows which open. One opens at the end of your third year, which is basically the beginning of your placement semester. Fourth year, beginning of your fourth year basically means the beginning of your placements. So the retagging window, the first one opens at the end of your third year, which is basically the summer after your third year. And the second tagging window opens at the time of your graduation, which is basically at the end of your fourth year, or for dual degree students at the end of their fifth year. So these are the two windows where you can change the tags of courses. These are retagging windows which open up for these students. Again, tagging rules keep changing every year, so you will have to keep updating yourself and staying up to date with the tagging rules. The best way to do it is to visit the IITB website itself. We will also do our best from our part to keep updating the tagging rules as and when they change. Right? But one thing to note is when you're tagging courses, you can change the tag of a course only once. Even though there are two windows in which you can tag courses, one course can only be retagged only once. You can't retag a course once you've already tagged it already. Okay. So generally what people do, they take courses as additional learning courses, and depending on once they take the set number of additional learning courses, when the retagging window comes, they decide which ones they want to retag into electives. That's a good practice which people mostly take up. That is one case where retagging would be helpful to you. And to display, these are the kind of tags, and these are which kind of tags you can change for particular kind of courses. Again, to note, since you all have a new type of you have new types of electives starting from this year, the tags of the electives are yet to be confirmed, but tentatively, this is what the tags are going to be. Okay, this is again, I'll reiterate, this is tentative. And when your retagging window does come at the end of your third year, you'll have a clear set of rules which will be given to you. But I wanted to give you a tentative idea what kind of tags would be offered for the various kind of courses. Okay, so for additional learning courses, you can, then for core courses, advanced electives, and so on, these are the kind of tags you can change them to. So you can retag ALCs to electives or honors courses as well. Core courses cannot be retagged. That is one major thing. And audit courses can also not be retagged. But core courses, in some very, very special cases, upon getting special permission, can be retagged, but those are always very rare. Apart from that, you can never retag core courses. Advanced, all the other electives which you see, advanced electives, interdisciplinary STEM electives, and so on ahead, these all of them you should be able to retag into additional learning courses, and others you can retag into a couple of other electives as well. Alright, so you have honors courses and honors electives too, which you can retag, and minor courses also can be retagged into ALCs and other electives as well. Okay. And finally, coming to another very, very exciting topic for you all, branch change. So starting from your year, branch change rules have been updated. So please do note the changes in your branch change rules. Firstly, you are eligible for branch change only if you don't have any backlogs at the end of your first year, means you have passed all of your first year courses. That is one prime criteria which you require. And now the new additions to your branch change rules are as follows. There are two CPI criteria now. Earlier there used to be one. Now you have to fulfill two CPI criteria. One is the eligibility CPI for branch change itself. One is your branch change CPI. So the eligibility CPI basically is the basis on which you are eligible for branch change in the first place. So this CPI is calculated using all the, like, should I say, non-core type of courses which you have done, which are your HASMET courses, your department introductory courses, makerspace, and your physics and chemistry labs. So your CPI is calculated including only these courses, and if that CPI is greater than or equal to 7, then you are eligible to apply for branch change. Otherwise, you are not eligible to apply for branch change. Okay. Now, if you are eligible for branch change, your CPI, which on the basis of which they do the branch change, is this branch change CPI. The branch change CPI is the CPI which they consider when they are considering you for your branch change, and this is the CPI which they'll use on the basis of which you may or may not get your branch change. Okay. And this CPI, of course, includes your core technical courses, PH 111, PH 112, all your chemistry courses, maths courses, and BB 101 and CS 101. Right? So note that there are two CPI criteria which are required for you to fulfill before you get your branch change. The branch change window should open very, very soon. So do keep this in mind when you're applying. And only upon fulfilling this eligibility CPI will you be considered for the branch change on the basis of this branch change CPI. Now you get the branch change on under two different conditions. One is set 1, set 2, as you can see here. Now set 1 is your standard. If your branch change CPI is at least 9 and there's a seat available in branch P, there is a high chance that you should get the branch change. Again, nothing is set in stone. Everything is prone to change. Everything is relative to the performance of your batch as a whole. But ideally, if there is a seat available and your branch change CPI is above 9, then there is a likelihood that you would get the branch change. Again, branch change cutoff, everything is entirely dependent on the performance of your batch. And the second set is, again, there are a lot of criteria. All of you might have also read a couple of these when you were applying through JOSA as well. And if there is a seat available in the branch you want to change to, and if your own branch strength does not fall below a minimum number, and there is, again, no other student with any higher CPI who's not getting the branch, again, those criteria on the basis of which you get the branch change. Now, Student Support Services releases a set of branch change resources to help you make the decision of branch change. We release a contact database of seniors who have branch change and seniors who have a high CPI but did not branch change. And we also release the branch change cutoffs of the previous year. Now, those will definitely be released as soon as your branch change window opens, so do keep a lookout for it, all right? Okay, so having covered a lot of information, you all might hope that this information is accumulated and mentioned somewhere properly, and that's exactly what we are providing to you. This year, we have presented to you all this course information in a novel way on Reservin. All of you are definitely very familiar with Reservin, and this year we have shifted all the course information onto Reservin. Earlier, Student Support Services used to maintain a course information booklet every year, and we used to provide course information and course reviews, minor reviews, honor reviews over there. This year, we have completely shifted all that information onto Reservin, where it is very, very easily accessible to all of you at any point of time. You don't have to rely on a PDF. You can easily log into Reservin and read anything that you want under, whether it be any information, anything that was covered in today's session, and even in more depth, everything is provided on this page. So you log on to Reservin, and on the left side, you should see a panel called Course Info, which will soon change to something which has SSS, name of SSS in it. Currently, it's called Course Info. Once you navigate there, you should see a page like this, on which you can read all information about everything which I've covered in today's presentation in more depth as well, right? And we've also updated more minors and honors reviews from various seniors who have taken up the courses as well. And these are accessible in the minors and honors tab on the left as well. So do check all of those out. And you can feel free to reach out to any of these seniors for any sort of clarifications and doubts as well, including us at Student Support Services. Here's a QR code. Feel free to scan this QR code, log into Reservin, bookmark the page, check out all the course information there in more depth, should I say, than what I've covered today. Besides the recording, of course, it should be available later on. Right? So feel free to check all this out. Right. So I hope you all have gathered at least some amount of whatever I've covered. I understand it's a lot of information overload, but I hope that you've got a basic idea about what kind of courses and opportunities lie ahead for you. So now let's move into the reviews section of this entire session. But before we begin, firstly, I'd like to invite Professor Anuradha ma'am. She is the head in charge of the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship, and she would like to speak to all of you about the Entrepreneurship Minor, which is offered to you as an option as well. I'm over to you. Ma'am, I think you are mute.
I thank you. I think I needed to be unmuted. Uh, I actually may have taught some of you. I think I would have taught maybe 400 of you if you attended, you did the HASMED Core ENT 101. I'm sorry about the quality of the video because I'm doing this off, I'm on the road somewhere. Can someone just confirm to me that you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, perfect. So the objective of the next maybe 7, 8, 10 minutes is to tell you a little about entrepreneurship, the courses that we run, what you all have inspired us to do for this semester, and most importantly, we follow a slightly different registration process for our courses. I hope to tell you about that. So I don't know, Kadambi, who's going to share
Ma'am,
my
I can share your
slide?
slides, ma'am. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll just share your slides, ma'am.
please,
Just a
please
minute.
go. Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes. Okay, this is perfect. So this is one of my favorite slides. I don't change this. I haven't changed it, I think, in about 2.5 years now, which is the question, why entrepreneurship? All those logos on the left-hand side, many of them are familiar to you. These are all companies that have been startups and have gone on to become unicorns, which is a billion valuation. The ones on the right, I'm even more fond of because all these came from IIT Bombay. India has about close to 110 unicorns, and at last count, IIT Bombay founders had 23 out of them. We are, however, not number one, and it does bother us at different times. IIT Delhi has more founders of unicorns than we have. When you do a class with me, you will realize that valuation is something and value is something else. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. So why entrepreneurship? Because you will be job creators. IITians are right up the street for that, and that's what the Entrepreneur magazine said. And now is always the best time to do. Um, can you move a slide for me, please? No, you move two. Can you go back one slide? Yeah. So this is a very easy depiction of the entrepreneurship ecosystem at IIT Bombay. I think two or three student bodies, which is the IITC, which is the Institute Technical Council, ESAL, which is the entrepreneurship cell. They help students think, ideate. They make entrepreneurship aspirational for all of you. And if you work with the ITC, you get a sense for what are the kind of areas you are interested in. Many of you will probably be PORs in Team Shunya, which is our zero energy house, or in robotics, or in Matsya, which is our UAV, or our racing car, and so on. And like as many of you to participate in things like that as possible. where the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship comes in is in courses, which we call Educate, and Pre-Incubate, where many of our students go on to form teams and work on their idea without getting credits. Without getting credits, they want to actually create a venture, and we help them with mentoring, we help them with grants, we help them with access to prototyping, and so on. Once students have reached somewhere, student teams have reached somewhere with their ventures, we pass them over to Sign, which is the incubator, or other incubators, or Y Combinator, or places like that. Can I have the next slide, please? So, we usually do 3 courses in the autumn semester and 3 courses in the spring semester. But in the semester ahead, we are actually offering 5 courses. We'll offer ENT 101, which is the HAZMAT core course. And again, in the coming year, about 400 students will get to do this. We will start increasing the capacity for this as we go forward. The 3 courses in the autumn: introductory courses, Introduction to Entrepreneurship, ENT 603. It's a course that I take. Then there is a course called Proof of Concept Basic, which is a lab course. Professor Kums takes that course. And we have a lovely specialist course called Marketing and Finance for Entrepreneurs. Professor Devdeep leads the course. We usually do a spring semester course called Technology Venture Creation. We call this our capstone course, which is basically when people have gone through introduction and learned a little more in terms of specialization, they then go and do a capstone course where it's literally trying to create a venture. And in those 4 or 5 months, we give you training, and we give you access, and you write a business plan, and you also create a prototype. So what we're doing in the current semester, in the semester starting July 31st, is we are offering TVC in addition to the other 3. And so that's 5 courses, which is typically understood by us as beyond the capacity of our faculty right now, but we build some capacity. Can I show you the next slide for an understanding of hi, Kadambari Sharvya? I don't know who is, yeah. So this has been the response to our courses over the last 7 or 8 years. If you see, last year we had 1,052 students who took our courses, and um, demand outstrips supply. I hope that we will soon be, or at least in a year, be in a position where we have enough capacity that supply equals demand. But till such time, we need to run pre-registration, and that's the box on the right. For the foundation courses, which is ENT 603 and 606, we don't know anything more about you than we knew, let's say, a year back. We have some grades of HAZMAT, but it's not been available for everybody doing the same course. So we use a pre-registration through ASC and a lottery system. So there is a fundamental belief we have that doing it first come first serve is less fair than doing a random lottery. So that's what you will end up having to do. So if and somebody from the GSA's office or the ASC will inform you when the dates are. The dates are not yet frozen. So there is a date at which electives open for registration. Let me take a date like 24th July, which is a week before the classes start, which is 31st July. But these dates are not yet frozen by the academic office yet. There is one more date, which is when the minors open. That's typically a week before the electives open. But our pre-registration for the entrepreneurship courses actually opens even earlier than minors. And all you have to do, you don't have to do anything else. You just have to go and enter and say, I want to do, yes, I'm interested. And between 603 and 606, we'll try our best to give one course. We don't want to give both of them if demand outstrips supply. So the course headcount on this is 220 for 603 and close to 100 for 606. All of this will be available to you on ASC. For our specialized course on marketing and finance, which is 609, we're not doing a pre-registration process. It's a normal registration that you follow for any other of your courses that you're registering for. For our capstone course, we actually ask you to fill in a Google form. Tell us why you are interested in entrepreneurship. Tell us an idea that you might have that you want to work on. Tell us so far what have you done in this space. If you have interned, you have studied, you have done a course, whatever it might be. And then we will do a selection based on the Google Forms that we have. The process runs on ASC. It starts, like I said, before the minor process, and it starts about 10 days before the elective process. I'm going to show you a couple of more slides and then I'll open this out for questions. Can I move to my next slide, please? So this is our proof of concept lab. That's Professor Kum's in the picture below. And students work with their hands and they create. So last time students created a smart cane, which is for visually go back to my, no worries. So this is what our proof of concept lab looks like. Just another slide for the next slide, please. This is the ideas program. We've had about 750 participate. So we've taught 3,000 students. We've had 750 students come and work on a venture idea. And we've had about 60 startups come out from students who've been through entrepreneurship courses. So ideas program per se, we've had close to 200 teams and they do this work in addition to the academics that they do. So this does not get credit. This is like, I mean, if you do well, you can get a letter of recommendation. You can certainly put it on your resume and we verify that. So it's the equivalent of a POR, but more importantly, people go ahead and create ventures of their own. I think I'm going to have one more slide after this, which is about the faculty at DSSE. And the only reason to show you this is that many of us come from industry. So I'm going to start from the right and go to the left. The three gentlemen on the right are honorary professors of practice, which means that they give their time without seeking any remuneration. Dr. Anand Deshpande, the top of that, is the founder, chairman, and chairman of Persistent Systems, which is a unicorn, more than $1 billion. Ramesh, who's the next on the right, the center, is worked for 30 plus years at McKinsey. He's a partner emeritus at McKinsey. Rizwan Koita, the name at the bottom right, is IIT Bombay alum, and he started 3 companies, and his middle one, which is Citius Tech, is a unicorn. The second set from the right are institute faculty from different departments: mechanical, IDC, School of Management, electrical engineering, who co-teach courses with us. The second from left are 6 adjunct faculty who are all from industry. They are either entrepreneurs or they are experts in their fields, which could be design thinking, which could be product management, tech product management, which could be intellectual property, which could be finance, and they co-teach courses with us. The 3 on the absolute left, which is Professor Devdeep, me, and Professor Sankalp, are full-time DSSE faculty. All of us come from a combination of academia as well as working in the corporate world. My last slide, which is the next one, just has a listing of the 60 startups that have been created by DSSE students. As you can see, they are in different fields, such, and I look forward to many of you taking our courses and then going on to form venture teams and then registering startups and then getting to be a unicorn. So love to have you join us on this journey. And what I need you to know, and I'm going to repeat, is the pre-registration. Very few other departments have pre-registration. The reason we have it is because our courses are oversubscribed and we have to find the most fair way or the most fair and apt way of getting the right people to join these courses. So you will get an email from ASC, you will get an email from the head of the School of Entrepreneurship to tell you that we have opened pre-registration. So, like I said, for the introductory courses, nothing is needed from you. Just say, yes, you would like to pre-register. The second is the capstone course, where you need to fill in a Google form and tell us why you are interested in entrepreneurship and what is the idea that you have that you would like to pursue. So thank you, and very happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that very elaborate review of the ENT minor as well. I would request you to address any questions in the chat box because we have to continue with the session ahead. It's a long session ahead.
I'll probably just respond on by chat itself. So you please
Yes,
continue your session. I'll respond on chat. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much, Kadambari Shoutfear. And looking forward to having you guys join us. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Now we'll move to the review section of the minors and the honors. And for that, I'd like to invite my academic coordinator, Tanish Kadam, to take the session forward. Tanish, over to you.
Yeah, hey, good evening, everyone. So, firstly, we'll be starting with the honors reviews. And so, the first speaker on our panel is Anurag Pense. He is a 2B4 in the engineering physics department, and he's pursuing an honors course in his very own department. So, yeah, handing on to Anurag.
Hi, I hope you can hear me. I'll share my screen.
Yeah, Anurag, you're on.
Please let me know if my screen is visible.
It's visible.
Oh, cool. Hi everyone. I am Anurag, and I'm like Tanish said, I am a 2B4 in the engineering physics department, and I'm pursuing an honors in EP, and I have completed I've completed 6 courses out of the elective basket, and as you'll find out later, that is basically the honors basket as well. So to start it off, I'll just give a brief overview of what the honors program looks like in EP. And so you can see that that there is a list of allowed courses you can tag as honors courses, and these courses are a subset of the department elective basket. So one benefit that will give you is that you'll be able to retag these courses as department electives if you get an excellent grade and you feel like during your retagging process later on you feel like these courses will boost your CPI, then that is an option, and that is one advantage of it being a subset of the elective basket. The other thing is the SLP and the BTPs. So these projects allow you to do research projects with professors and get them credited. And you being able to do these as honors courses, in my opinion, is rather beneficial, as you don't exactly have to worry about your grade in it, and you can focus. Like obviously, if you do well in the project, you'll get a better grade. But again, that thing won't sort of be in the back of your mind at all, since it is an honors course. And so all of these courses coupled with the department electives allow you to go deeper into whatever field you are interested in. So for example, if you're interested in high energy physics, out of this basket of courses, you can look at quantum mechanics 3, group theory, elementary particle physics, and GTR, say. And you can move forward with those. And that sort of allows you to learn more about the subject, and it also helps boost your transcript in the sense that when you're applying for internships and for grad school and all, since it shows up on your transcript, it shows that you have some prerequisite knowledge in the field itself. And the same goes for other fields of physics as well. Sorry. So I'll just give a brief overview of like 3 courses, the ones which I mentioned. So these are relevant to high energy physics. So as is the case with most honors courses, the courses will be on the tougher side. It will be moderate to difficult, but they will be very interesting. So like out of the entire list of department electives, there will be some courses which might be tedious, might be a bit boring, but they're just there. But I personally believe that all the courses in the honors basket, they are very interesting, and they're they sort of give you they teach you essential topics, or they're at sort of the at the front of the field, as in they discuss what research is going on now and stuff. So that makes everything extremely interesting. So as you can see for QM3, for example, QM3 covers topics which are extremely essential if you want to continue in high energy physics as for research. And so all of these topics are crucial, and you can see in GTR as well. The math you learn there, the differential geometry and the curve spaces and all of that, the stuff you learn there is extremely relevant and crucial to not just high energy physics but to other areas of physics as well. So all these courses carry benefits other than the fact that you'll just get your honors degree. It'll help you move forward in your research journey. And another course I would like to say is like group theory methods. So this course, like personally, what I felt was it is excellent for people doing physics, as it does not get into the nitty-gritty of algebra as is done in the math department, but it is perfect for physics students, as it discusses the relevance of the topic to physics. Now, why is honors a good idea at all? So a bit of these points are repetitive from the second slide. All of them are, in fact. But one thing I would like to say is that honors course, even if you forget about the logistics part of it, like you can retag them later on and all of that. An honors course gives you a lot of freedom. So you have a certain number of electives, and within those, again, you are limited by how much you can explore. Because in your second year or in your third year, it's extremely unlikely that you know exactly what field you want to work in, and the electives are an excellent way to explore it. What honors gives you is 4 more courses to explore, and so you'll have your electives plus 4 courses, which will allow you to explore even more, and that will sort of help you fix what you are interested in, rather than just going with the flow, and going with the flow in the sense going with what a lot of people find interesting and just trying your hand at it. You can explore many different areas of physics through these electives and honors courses, and that will allow you to do research more productively, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. Another small thing I like to mention is that doing an honors in physics along with some other minor is rather it is not difficult. So I personally have been doing a math minor as well along with the honors, and I can say that managing it is not at all difficult. And again, it is the same. I'll give the same justification for it, is that it allows you to build your skill, build a relevant skill set to what you want to pursue in the future. So, yeah. So, yeah, that is all from my end.
Thank you very much, Anurag. I believe if anyone has questions, they'll definitely ask in the chat, so I encourage that. So
Yeah.
moving on, also moving on to the next speaker on our panel. Our next speaker is Sanya Arora. She is a 2B4 in the chemical engineering department, and she is pursuing an honors in her department. So moving on to Sanya.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if my slides are visible.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, great. So, hi. I'll be talking about pursuing an honors in chemical engineering department. There's a couple of nuances to this branch that are different from other branches, so make sure you know about them when you're trying to go ahead and pursue an honors degree. Right, so I'll get started. So again, speaking about which courses can and cannot be tagged as an honors course. So 2 courses are compulsory as your honors core courses. They are CL325 and CL336. You will have to do them, and it is preferable if you finish them as soon as possible, because they also may be prerequisites for other courses down the line. So for my case, I finished both of them in my third year, and so I plan to do my electives now in the fourth year. So that is something you can think about doing. I'll speak about what actually comes under these courses on the next slide. Again, for the honors elective, there is a basket of courses that you can choose two electives from. Now, this basket isn't like stagnant, it keeps on changing. It's very necessary for you to go and check on ASC what kind of courses are being allowed as the honors elective courses. So that is something you will need to do, and it will change every year. But as of now, there is a lot of overlap between the department electives that chemical has to offer. Most of them can also be tagged as honors elective courses. Again, speaking about honors CPI, it's completely different from your actual CPI. So you can sort of shuffle around courses from your honors bucket and your department elective bucket based on which course you performed well in. Now talking about the few courses in detail. So CL336, it's covered in the odd semester. Professor Jason has been taking it consistently since the past 3 years, I think. And what it entails basically is Reynolds transport theorem, Navier-Stokes equations, a lot of things that you actually cover in your second year, but an advanced version of that. The course content is a bit on the tougher side, and it will require regular efforts throughout the semester. But because the professor sort of is really enthusiastic about building knowledge from the base, it will be a very nice experience. Also, something that I want to mention about honors courses is because like a lot of people who are doing it are very interested in chemical engineering, the classes have a lot of discussion and a lot of scope for expanding on concepts that you did not have an idea about. So make sure you take advantage of that. Coming to the next course, which is CL325, Chemical Reaction Engineering 2. Again, this is a build up from CRE1, which is right. So CRE2 is going to involve discussion on various topics. Most of them include reactor design, energy balance equations, steady state on steady states, things like that. It's a very mathematical course and also involves a lot of programming. So if you're enthusiastic about that, then you should definitely take it up. Both these courses have course projects to look forward to, which are done in teams. So that was something that was really enjoyable for our batch. They also have surprise quizzes. So if you do end up taking them, make sure you're regular for the classes. Now, speaking about the electives, so I've done 2 electives till now. One was an SLP IDP, and this is something that is sort of unique to our branch, which I'll be talking about. And one was in evolutionary biology. So SLP IDP is basically a supervised learning project, but this is done in partnership with chemical industries. So they come to our college and give us real life problem statements to work on. And under their guidance and under a faculty's guidance, we get to solve real life problems. We have to present our solutions to them, and we sort of also get to visit their industries and actually know what kind of nuances go on in the chemical industry. So this was something that's very different from other courses because you're not really engaging in classroom learning. You're sort of going out and solving problems on your own. So this helps you make up your mind if you want to take up a career in chemical industries, what the work actually involves, how tough it is, what kind of mathematical / programming tools you use. So, and you also get to work in teams with your friends. So that's always a plus. So that's something you can consider if you end up taking this as an elective. Again, so why honors is a good idea, which is sort of a repeat from the last time. Basically, the reason I took it was I thought that there was a lot of things I didn't understand in my core courses in detail, and they're not covered because there's not much time for the NSEMs to go or something like that, or the profs have a specific syllabus they need to stick to. So I thought I want to know a bit more about what's being covered, and that's why I decided to go with honors. So that's a reason you can sort of gravitate towards as well. If you think that you want to know about something more in detail and you're not satisfied with the explanation that's being given to you, then honors is a great way to go about it. Like I said, generally the professors who are taking up honors courses are very enthusiastic about their subjects, and they sort of encourage a lot of free discussion and coming together of minds. So that's something to look forward to as well. About handling honors and minor together, I was doing a minor in BSB. I still am. So if you can sort of ensure an overlap between your honors, electives, and minor, so I tried to do that. That works wonderfully. You can sort of apply the knowledge you learn from one course to another, and it gets you brownie points. With chemical engineering, because the core course burden can be a bit much at times, you need to be sure about what kind of courses you're taking together. Try not to take a stressful minor course along with a heavy honors course as well. So you'll need to be a bit clever about that. And the way you can go about doing that is consult seniors and view the DAMP blog and things like that. So you can sort of see how academically heavy the course you are taking is. So that's all I have to cover. If there's any specific doubts, let me know. I would once again stress that before you decide to take up courses, be sure to check on ASC what kind of courses are valid for you. And if you still aren't sure, then make sure you approach either the DGSec or the profs who are taking up those courses, because they will generally have an idea. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Anya. Okay, so the next speaker on the panel is Master Darshan Mari, who is pursuing his honors in the MEMS department. So yeah, handing on to Darshan.
Audible?
Yeah, Darshan, you are.
Is it visible? The screen visible?
Darshan, it's visible.
Okay. So I'll just start. I'm Darshan. I've finished my third year. I'm to be a fourth year in the MEMS department, and I am going to share with you about pursuing an honors in MEMS department. So, my motivation behind pursuing an honors was basically that MEMS department it's a vast department with a lot of subfields and a very broad curriculum. And what this results in is that as part of the curriculum, they need to give you at least an introduction to all the fields. So most of the core courses that you are going to end up encountering are going to be very introductory and not as much in depth. So let's say there is a course and you find something interesting, but you want to know more about it. So it's probably not going to be part of that course curriculum. So explore such subfields and to identify what it is, what your interests lie in. And you also get to study higher level topics on that field as well. So this is why I decided to pursue honors. And another benefit is that knowledge that you gain in those courses is transferable to other courses. And basically, pursuing an honors will eventually end up helping you with your core courses as well in ways you might not realize. Now, in the MEMS department, you need to take a total of 24 extra credits to complete your honors. Out of that, the 2 are compulsory courses and 2 are electives. And we have the number of electives has been increased recently, and unfortunately, the new list is not out yet. It will be out with the updated curriculum. So I don't have the exact list of electives with me right now, but it will be out soon. So the thing is that with this large list of electives, you can tailor your experience to as you want, as you would like it. You can basically go really into detail into one particular field, and that will really help you if you want to go ahead for research in that particular field. Other thing is that electives really do not have any pre-registration or CPI criteria, and you can mostly start honors at any time. You can finish it at any time. Some people finish the honors by the third year itself. Some people start in the fourth year and finish it. And because you can take up multiple electives in one semester. So let's talk about the compulsory courses. So the first one is MM206, which is Experimental Techniques and Material Science. Now, this is a very fun, interesting, easy, and useful course, and this is one of my personal favorite courses I have taken. this course is basically like an introduction to experimentation in the MEMS, all the experimental techniques that you would use if you are going to pursue research in MEMS, and how the theory behind those techniques, and you will also get to use some of these techniques. And topics like X-ray diffraction, electron microscopy, thermal and electrical analysis are taught as part of this topic, as part of this course. And it also has a really fun and easy project. Basically, you have to choose a random material, and you need to perform all these techniques on that material, and then come up with a report on that. And it is very easy. It is very enjoyable. There are discussions about this course being a core course from next year, so I'm not really sure how that will affect the honors degree part. But this is a really fun course. Other course here is MM492. This is BTP 1, BTech Project 1. So for most people, the BTech Project 1 is the official exposure to credited research. At least in our department, this is the case. This course can be taken from your sixth semester onwards. So you cannot take it before your sixth semester. You have freedom to choose your guide and topic. You can approach your guide. You can discuss that. You can tell them that you want to do a BTech project under them on a particular topic. You can get all of that approval done. So you have freedom on what guide you get, what topic you want. The final exam in this course is a report and a presentation. So you need to submit a project report, and you need to present it in front of an examiner. If you get an AA grade in this course, you are eligible for a URA 02. URA 02 is basically stands for Undergraduate Research Award 02. This is given by IIT Bombay, and if you are awarded this, it does appear in a transcript, and it is a pretty big deal, and it will help you a lot in the future if you want to go for research or anywhere else in general. Now, if you get a BB grade or higher in this, then you can attempt. Then you are eligible for MM494, which is BTech Project 2. Now let's discuss the electives. So most MM4XX courses and higher can be taken up as electives. The list is about to be expanded. It was expanded last year as well. It is going to be expanded this year as well. So the final list will be released by the time your second year curriculum comes out. And this allows you to explore and learn advanced concepts. And our department offers courses on a wide range of topics, ranging from semiconductors, thin films, lasers and nanomaterials, ceramics, composites, iron and steel, simulation and optimization. You have courses on all these topics. And you can also choose MM494 if you did really well in MM492 and would like to go ahead with a project. Now, one of the courses that I took was MM474. This is called Science and Technology of Thin Films. And this is a very interesting topic. And the Professor Dasani, he is very enthusiastic. He used to go into very in-depth about he used to teach the topic in a very simple manner, and used to go very in-depth in the topic as well. He used to take us to his lab to show us some of the equipment used. He used to bring some of the equipment to the classrooms at times. And he's very enthusiastic about this. And you learn all the basics of semiconductors and thin film manufacturing, from the very basic concepts of vacuum and all, and why it is needed, and how to even just basic concepts like how do you even measure pressure, or to the techniques that are used in thin film manufacturing, semiconductor manufacturing, of PVD, CVD, all those techniques, and what are the difficulties faced, what are the challenges faced, why is the world so obsessed with semiconductors and chips right now. And this is a very as I said, these are very state-of-the-art topics. These are very relevant to what is happening in the world right now. And obviously, if you want to go into semiconductors, use semiconductor manufacturing and semiconductor industry, you should definitely take this topic. One thing to note is that this requires consistent efforts, and this is slightly on the heavier side of things. So be a little careful. Don't just take it up for the sake of taking it up. You will have to take efforts in this. That's my experience. So thank you, and you can contact. These are my contact details if you want to reach out. No more. Okay.
Thank you very much, Darshan. So now we'll be moving on to the minors reviews part of our course info session. So we have a very comprehensive list of speakers for this category too. So we'll be starting off with Miss Nayantara Ramakrishnan, who is currently pursuing a minor in the MEMS department, and she's a 2B30. So yeah, moving on to Nayantara, I'll hand over the control to her.
So I took a minor in MEMS. The first thing I'm going to tell you is yes, this minor exists. The reason I'm mentioning this is when last year I was asking seniors about the courses in this minor and trying to find out if they overlap with courses I was already learning in mechanical, which is my degree. No one seemed to know anybody who had taken this minor before. So I hope that you guys aren't going to come across the same issue. So the reason I chose this minor is I was interested in material science for quite some time, and I didn't really know what it was about. So my idea was just somebody in a lab coat and goggles who's like creating new materials and doing some cool sciencey stuff. Like what do you imagine research looks like when you're a kid? So I was curious to see what this actually involved and how it looks like in the real world. But by the time I finished the first course, I got like a good idea of it. So the minor turned out to be pretty useful that way. The second reason is I was interested in like pursuing higher studies in materials, and considering that my main degree is in mechanical, I thought it'd be pretty useful if I showed that I'm interested in materials and I've like done courses in it by having a minor. It looks much more comprehensive to say you have done a minor in a course when you're applying for, say, a master's later. So my experience with the minor was really good so far. I've done only 2 courses, but I really enjoyed them. And like they gave me a very fair idea of what material science looks like and what it requires. So my interest in material science went from, oh, material science sounds cool, to I actually like the ideas that you use in material science. I actually like the problems you can solve in material science. And that it gave me somewhat of a grasp of how diverse of a field it is. It's used pretty much everywhere, from semiconductors to making solar cells to creating, say, a window that repels water, or a polymer, a flexible watch, any of that, right? So this diversity and application of material science really interested me because you're not restricting yourself to one domain. You're pretty much free to solve any science or engineering problem in the world because all of them depend on materials. I also, because I was interested in research, I'm doing a project right now on solar cells. And I found that whatever I learned in the minor, those courses were like the concepts covered in those courses were the basics that I required to go ahead. So in that sense, the minor is pretty accurate in teaching you the basic fundamentals of material science. But that said, material science is a very wide field. So these courses give you the basic like fundamentals you need, but it doesn't cover all the aspects of material science, like everything that is interesting everywhere that you could apply the field. So in that sense, if you're interested in a very specific aspect of materials, like you're interested only in semiconductors, then I would suggest that you take like just electives in semiconductor or in electronic related aspects of material science alone instead of going for the minor. So basically this course, the minor has 28 credit requirement, and you only need to take 4 courses. The first course you'll have to take is MM201, which is about structure of materials. So this course runs in the the autumn semester, and it's a prerequisite for MM318. So ideally, it should be the first course you take. This is a very fascinating course in the sense that it's considered a fairly hard course, but the idea behind the course is pretty cool because it's all about symmetries. It's all about unit cells. It's like you take a molecule of say ethane and you figure out if you rotate it by like 360 by 180 degrees, how does it look? If you rotate it and then invert it, how does it look? So it's a very artistic course in that sense that you move things around, you imagine things in your head, and if you enjoy doing that, it's a really good course. But apart from that, this course is also the basis for material science research, and it's useful if you're interested in that. The next course is MM209, which is about thermodynamics, and MM318 about electronic properties. I haven't done yet. I have to do those in the upcoming semesters. But put together, these 3 courses are very much the basics of material science that you will need in any further application of materials that you want to do. So you also MM209 it also runs in the autumn semester. You'll probably take it in your 3rd year, and MM318 runs in the spring semester. And the suggestions that I've got from seniors is that you should probably take it in your 3rd year because it's a slightly more intense course. Apart from this, you can also take an elective, and the elective that I took was MM206, which Darshan just talked about. It was one of the most fun courses I've done because it not only was very application oriented, you could see how, like, when you're learning the theory of XRD, you learn it in a way that you can see how it's being applied. And of course, the course project was really fun. So my team took toothpaste, and then we like put it on a slide and put it in the oven to bake, and then we put it under the X-ray diffraction. So it's a very fun course. So the logistics of these courses are, firstly, all of these courses go with you'll be learning it along with the MEMS department students of that particular year. So it's unlike some other minors. It's not a separate set of courses. So that means that also that these courses don't run in slot 5. And so while MM201 and 318 and even 206 don't clash with your core courses, they mostly run in slot 5 or slot 6. 209 runs in slot 1, 2, 3. So there's a chance it might clash. So you'll probably have to plan out which semester you want to take it in according to that. And apart from that, your grading will be with the meta students who are taking that course as well. I think that covers the logistics as such. So that's all I have. I'm just going to end by saying that if you're interested in research, if you're interested in materials, if you're interested in just a field that has a lot of applications, this is an excellent minor to take. And it gives you a platform to like jump off into a lot of things. So in that sense, this minor is pretty fulfilling. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'll put my details in the chat.
Thank you very much, Nayantara. So we'll move on to the next speaker on our minors panel. He is Nilabha Saha, who is currently pursuing a minor in the statistics minor, and he is a 2B30. So welcoming Nilabha.
Hi everyone, can you all hear me? Could someone just confirm if I'm audible?
Yeah, Nilabha, you're audible.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, yeah, so I am pursuing a minor in the statistics and informatics sector. So if you look into it, could someone please present the slides? So by the way, I do not have the slides because, I have the slides. I'm on a phone because I'm not on the I don't have a laptop. So someone else will be presenting it. So please bear with my next slides, everyone. Okay, yes. So okay, please the next slide, please. Okay, so the thing about the statistics and informatics minor is that it is not particularly a bachelor majors. Like for instance, if you take a math minor, there's a math major. If you take a physics minor, there's a physics major. But there is no statistics and informatics major for bachelors. Instead, the applied statistics and informatics is a major for master students. But the thing about statistics and informatics is that it's statistics, especially that there is barely any informatics done in this minor. It's just there for namesake. But statistics, especially, is used in a lot of fields, be it from machine learning, data science, quantitative trading, financial analysis, biology, genomics. You name any field of science, you can always find an application of statistics there. In fact, even if you look at the Nobel Prize in Economics that was awarded, say, 2 or 3 years ago, it was awarded to Esther Duflo and Abhijit Banerjee. Esther Duflo is the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Prize. Their work on economics was also based on statistics. In fact, Esther Duflo is a statistics professor at MIT. Statistics has applications in a lot of places. So what IIT Bombay decided to do, the maths department, is that they decided that since this is such an important field, that they must give at least some flavor or taste of it to the bachelor students who are interested in pursuing it. And that's how the statistics minor came into being for the bachelor students at IITB. So with that, okay, next slide, please. Okay, so why did I choose this minor per se? So one of the reasons I chose this minor is because I mean the major reason is I enjoyed probability, its applications, and with whatever probability I had studied, I realized that there's an intimate relationship between probability and statistics, and I wanted to explore that further. So that is more of a pure reason. The more applied reason would be it's used everywhere in, say, machine learning. It's used in data science, and it's so that is one of the things. If I ever wanted to pursue machine learning, having a strong background in statistics would have helped me a lot. That is one of the reasons I took it. And other than that, any other field I look into, having a strong background in statistical analysis and statistical thinking would allow me to think more rationally and be able to, you know, so basically whenever you collect data on any experiment, it's very important to figure out whether that is just say experimental randomness or how significant the experimental results are. So to be able to properly gauge that, to be able to appropriately design experiments, you need to have a good background in statistics. So I realized that whichever field I go into, a strong background in statistics will help me achieve all of that. So that is one of the reasons I chose to take, that is the other reason I chose to take up the statistics minor. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what are the courses? So you basically have only 5 courses that are offered in the statistics and informatics bucket. So one of the course is SI. So yeah, these are the 5 courses: SI 427, 424, 422, 404, 527. And I'll come to each of these in a bit. But here's then what are the prerequisites for taking up an SI minor, right? And next slide, please. The answer is none. Technically, like you don't really need to have any prerequisites per se beyond, I mean, completing your first year and whatever the CPI requirement is. The reason I say not technically is because if you have some little background, you don't need to have too much of a background in, but even if you study a little bit of, say, real analysis, that could help a lot in being able to understand the concepts. Because as I said, the SI minor for BTech students is actually a master's course that has been dumbed down to the BTech level, but there are certain details which you still have to go over. Even if you do not know real analysis, you can perfectly sail through it. I mean, when I started, I didn't know much about real analysis either. But the thing is, if you do a little bit of reading on real analysis, that can help you understand everything that's happening in the course much better. So if you are planning to take on this minor, I would say get a little bit of reading done on real analysis during the summer. You don't need to be an expert at it. You don't need to do a full course at it. You just need some exposure to the kind of ideas. But again, that is not a hard prerequisite. And you can, in fact, if you do not want to do it during the fall, you can do it while the course is going on too. Okay, next slide, please. The other thing about SI minor, so this is something the few minors have, SI is one of them, that you only need to take 4 courses to complete the minor success. So basically, the minor policy is that you need 30 credits. Now, the thing about the SI courses are that each of them are 8 credits. So you need to do 30 by 8 equals to 3.75 courses. And of course, the current system doesn't allow to do fractional courses, so you'll have to do 4 courses. But you only need to do 4 courses instead of 5 courses, which other traditional minor takes. But that also means you're supposed to give more commitment per course. But I personally didn't really feel like it's that much of a commitment. So it's not. I didn't find the courses to be that difficult that it should be quote unquote worth 8 credits. They are 8 credits, so yeah, it won't be too pressurizing or anything. Don't worry. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, yes. So this is the dependency graph. So SI 4 to 7 is a prerequisite to everything. So you need to complete it. It's taken in the autumn semester. Autumn semester is basically your odd semesters, and spring are your even semesters. So once you finish SI 4 to 7, probability 1, you will get access to the 3 other courses. And then if you complete statistical inference 1, you can take regression analysis. Now, one thing about applied stochastic process and regression analysis is that they happen in alternate years. So both of them happen in the spring season, but they happen in alternate years. And here's something important. So you have to take only 4, so you can choose to skip 1. Now, if you are, for instance, not interested in taking up Introduction to Derivative Pricing because you are more math oriented and you want to do only math type of courses, not finance application, then I would strongly suggest that you plan it out carefully because, as you can see, regression analysis and applied stochastic process happen in alternate year, and regression analysis has a prerequisite of statistical inference 1. So if you do not plan it out carefully, you can be in your 4th year, but you might not be able to complete your minor without taking Introduction to Derivative Pricing just because you hadn't planned it out properly yet. This is something I realized between my 2nd and 3rd year. Otherwise, even I was going to screw up my planning. So it's a word of warning there. If you're fine with taking SA 5 to 7 too, then you wouldn't have that issue. Cool. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I have completed only 2 courses till now. So first is probability 1. It covers basic probability theory. It gives a very light touch of measure theory and is the foundation of all the future SI courses. And SI 404 covers discrete time markup chains and Poisson processes. You study what they are when you get there. But the thing is, interesting thing is, even though the name says applied, there aren't really that many applications. And this is one thing about the minor. If you want applications, you'll have to like go find them out yourself or read about yourselves. The courses currently in the lecture, they don't focus too much on applications. That is not something some of you might not like, but class coverage is pretty good. So you can understand the applications yourself. So that's not something you'll be losing out on if you're interested. Next slide, please. So yes, so finally, my word of advice on this is that the course content could be much better understood with some reading outside the classroom. So as I said, real analysis one thing, measure theory is the other. Now technically the actual course is supposed to go with measured theory, but again, since it's BTech down, people haven't studied measured theory, they'll assume you don't have a measured theory background and they will give you the droplets of measured theory you need. But if parallelly you can also read up on measured theory, that would be great because that would completely enhance your understanding of the subject and you'd be able to see things much better. So I would suggest doing real analysis, like studying real analysis and measure theory in parallel. However, if you don't want to, you can skip that. That's not much of a requirement. But for those who are interested, that's great. And one very important thing is there's a continuous progression there. If you miss what happened in class X, you can get completely lost in what happened in class X plus 1. Just make sure you revise everything on time and properly. And as long as you do that, you'll understand everything clearly. Like the minor will be very fun and enjoyable, and you won't even have too much of a hassle studying for the exams or anything if you just keep paying attention to class and revising regularly. So yes, that's all I had to say. And yeah, next slide, please, which is nothing but the end slide. Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, you can again reach out to me. I'll put on my details in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nilava. Now we will be having Tamojit who will be talking about the physics minor.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, that's great. Is my screen visible? I guess not. Uh, okay, yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So hi everyone, I am Tamojit and I am currently a 2B30 in the electrical engineering department, and I am pursuing a physics minor which I'll be talking about for the next 10 minutes. So physics of course is a subject you all are familiar with. There's no need for me to introduce that per se. But yeah, there are reasons why I chose to take a physics minor, which I might clarify at the beginning as well. I am from the electrical department, but I aim to take a physics research after this. So far, that is my plan. And of course, if I want to take a physics research, I need to have a background for which I took up the physics minor. And I'll go over the courses. So yeah, there are three compulsory topics in physics that you need to get familiar with in order to say that you have a physics minor. And why I say topics and not courses is because the physics department is very flexible when it comes to choosing your courses for the minor. And this is subject to the fact that Professor Uma Shankar remains the HOD, and he is very flexible about what courses you take for the minor. If his term gets completed or something, then I cannot vouch for these facts anymore. So yeah, the first topic that is compulsory to do is classical mechanics. PH 251 is the normal minor course that runs in slot 5, and slot 5 is the designated minor slot, as might have already been covered. So this is the designated minor course in slot 5. PH 217 is the core course for EP students, and PH 401 is the core course for MSc students, and all of them are called classical mechanics, and you are free to take any of these courses for doing a minor. I would personally recommend doing PH251. It's a very fun course, and if the professor remains the same, you will enjoy doing the course genuinely. And again, the other two courses, 217 and 401, are core courses which might change with the new curriculum that you have from your batch onwards. And the second topic that you need to do is quantum mechanics. The designated minor course in this case is PH252 that runs in slot 5, and PH204 is the EP core course, and PH403 is the MSc core course. These are again subject to change because of the new curriculum. And in this, I have not done PH252 myself because from what my seniors told me, PH252 was very similar to the first year quantum mechanics course that we had in our batch. Again, because you have a new curriculum and your quantum mechanics course got reduced to half a semester, you might find a lot of new topics in PH252. And for that, just talk to the professor. Because that would be the best thing. Your seniors wouldn't have any idea because their curriculum was different. And then the third topic, which is compulsory to do, is statistical mechanics. The designated minor course for this is again PH253. And the other course that I know of is PH410, which runs for the master's students. EP students have one half semester course on thermal and statistical physics and another full semester course on statistical physics. And I'm not sure of the prerequisites or which semesters they run in currently or which years they're meant for, so I cannot vouch for them. But yeah, so this is the recommended order of doing the topics. First you start with classical mechanics, then move on to quantum, and finally statistical. Courses that I have done include PH251 in my third semester, which is the classical mechanics course. And in my second semester, I did not take PH252, which normally runs in slot 5. I took PH410, which is the statistical mechanics course. And I took the course on general relativity, which is again aligned with my interests and not something that is compulsory to do. And then there is another topic which does not officially come as a minor course or even a course that you can easily take, but you need to know that if you want to call physics as a minor, which is special relativity. And special relativity is not the thing that you have learned in your first year course that covers very little, and special relativity is much more deeper than that, and you really need to have a good grasp of it. Yeah, and then of course, yeah, like all minors, most minors, physics minors also a 30 credit job, and you need to do 5 courses in order to complete it. So the other 2 courses are left to you. You can take them based on your choice and interest. And one thing that I have been told by my seniors, but that may change depending on whether Umashankar sir remains the HOD and based on the new curriculum, is that you can skip QM part 1, quantum mechanics part 1, by learning it yourself and not taking an official course, and you can directly take quantum mechanics part 2, which is a higher EP course and also a core course for the MSc students. Yeah, these are further details that you don't need at the introductory level for a minor. And yeah, courses are again subject to change. So who should consider a physics minor? Firstly, please do not take your first year physics courses to represent what is further to come in a physics minor, because your first year physics courses were very rushed. They tried to condense a lot of things into a half semester course, and as a result you were left with learning very little of the actual topics. And when you take actual courses, you will realize how deeper and more enjoyable those are as actual topics. And so I would recommend a physics minor to those who enjoyed physics in JE, but they were not satisfied with the amount of detail that was given out, and they want to learn further topics like relativity, particle physics, solid state, and the list basically just goes on. And those who want to learn about how the world works and why things happen the way they do. So physics is of course about explaining all the phenomena around us, and that's what is a major factor in deciding if you want to do a physics minor or not. And then of course a physics minor does involve a lot of maths, but unlike the courses from the maths department, which I personally found to be a bit too rigorous to enjoy to the fullest, physics department, the maths that is done in physics courses does expose you to sufficient theory and not too much rigor. I mean, there is enough rigor for you to understand completely what's going on, but they focus more on the application of that maths in physics. And some examples of this includes variational calculus and classical mechanics, where you learn about Lagrangian and Hamiltonian and stuff. And then there's perturbation theory in quantum mechanics. I have not personally learned this yet. I just know that this is what. Then there are tensors and topology, differential geometry that is done in special and general relativity. And yeah, of course, these are more application focused and they do cover sufficient theory for my liking. And that is one of the reasons I took physics courses and learned as much maths on the way as I wanted to. And finally, you might be one of those who are in a different department, but who are genuinely interested to pursue a physics research career. And for them, having a physics background is imperative. So physics minor is the best way to go about it, because you anyways have to take a lot of courses to make sure you have enough background to go into a research career after your graduation. And when you are doing so many courses, why not tag 5 of them as minor? So those are, I think those people should consider doing a physics minor. Then of course everything comes with its good and bad sides. So the main pros of choosing a physics minor is that you have a lot of freedom in choosing the courses, which basically pertains to the long list I showed to you in the beginning of slide 2. And physics minor classes are generally very small, and this includes the minor courses, which are like the smallest. You can imagine I had 5 students sitting with me in my classical mechanics minor course. And if you take electives, you will have a lot of people from the physics department itself. And but the thing is, because you'll only be taking minor courses or elective courses, mostly you will only find the subset of students who are genuinely interested in that topic and want to actually learn, which is a great learning environment, to be very honest. And I experienced this especially in my general relativity course. I had a lot of friends from the physics department, not as many from my own department, but all of us were genuinely interested in learning and we enjoy the course. And this is especially true for PH251. The class size is small and the prof gets to know you personally. Some potential pitfalls that you might encounter are slot clashes for the elective courses. So the designated minor courses on the 3 compulsory topics run in slot 5, which is like the minor sacred minor course where no core course will clash. But if you want to take up electives, you will have to make some tough choices. For instance, my general relativity course clashed with a popular popular elective course of electrical engineering, which is my parent department. And I had to make a choice. I chose general relativity because it is a prereq for further courses like gravitational waves, and the elect course wasn't. So, and then again, because of the small class sizes, you might not have any department mates or sufficient seniors from your own department to discuss things with. And this is opposed to more popular minors like DS, where they have like 150 students. You will have a bunch of your friends doing the same minor, a lot of seniors who have done the same minor whom you can ask for help. And so these are some things you can keep in mind. Finally, some remarks from my side. If you are just taking it out of interest to learn physics, which is a great thing, and you will get a flavor of how things work, and it's a whole, you actually get a whole new perspective on the world. So doing a physics minor does enrich your knowledge in that way. So start with PH251, and classical mechanics is a very basic thing to do, and you need to have a good hang of it. And for other minor courses, talk to your seniors, because again, with respect to your new curriculum, I do not know how much overlap PH252 might have, or how much relevance it will have as a course, and with other courses as well, because you have a lot of freedom in choosing. And talk to your department seniors who would have had the same schedule to get a good plan of minor courses. And for specific topic courses, which are the electives, talk to both your minor seniors and, more importantly, EP's own seniors who are interested in the same topic, because electives are common to both minor and the branch's own students. And secondly, if you want to pursue serious research later on in physics, again, start with PH251. There, no other alternative is as good, in my opinion. And if you want to do research, then just having courses on your transcript even with good grades won't help. You need to have a good background as well, especially because you're from a different department. So attend talks by the guest lecturers who come in frequently, and try to get to know profs, and take up projects under them, which is like a very good start to your research career if you want to have one. And if you are interested in a specific field, talk to seniors. Mostly they will be physics department seniors, but a lot of them I found to be pursuing minors too for future courses, for profs who they can work with. And how, for instance, I am genuinely and very deeply interested in astronomy. I know a bunch of seniors from my third and fourth year who are also doing astronomy. They are all physics seniors, and I know two who are in electrical, and they were doing a physics minor, and I know I can turn to them for advice at any moment, and I have done so for a lot of my ventures so far. So yeah, that is more or less everything I wanted to tell about the physics minor. And in the end, if you have any particular questions, always feel free to contact me. My number is there in the slides. I guess these will be shared with you. And start with PH251 if you want to do a physics minor, and further courses you can talk to seniors is what I would suggest. And yeah, try to figure out your interest on the way and have fun. So that's all I had to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tamujit. So yeah, moving on to the next speaker. She's Prakriti Shetty, and she's pursuing a minor in the KCDH department, that is the Koita Center for Digital Health. And yeah, moving on to her.
Yeah, thank you, Tanishq. I'll just share my screen. One second. Right. So yeah. So yes, as Tanishq mentioned, I'm doing my minor in the Koita Center for Digital Health. And quickly moving on to the agenda, I'll start with a brief overview of whatever courses I've completed till now, my motivation and how I felt the minor will help me in the future, and the logistics related to the minor, and words of advice at the end. So for the brief overview, I have completed 3 courses till date. The first is a mandatory course that has to be completed for the minor, and I started with that. So it's called DH302, and it's an intro to public health informatics. It is the course instructor is Professor Ganesh Ramakrishnan from the CSE department. So I have included what the course content is so that you'll kind of get an idea of what all was covered in the course. So it was basically, we started out with, an introduction to what is healthcare informatics and what, you can expect from the field should you want to start a career in it. Then we moved on to certain ethics. See, ethics is really important in today, especially AI systems. So we had an ethics module by Professor C.B. George from the HSS department. I'm not sure, HSS or economics. And then they brought in an AIMS professor, AIMS Delhi prof, and he was into public health. So they brought him in to kind of give us a very broad overview of what public health is and how you can integrate informatics into it. So again, he had a lot of guest lectures, I think close to about 6-7, and they gave us a very good overview because it's coming directly from a practitioner. So you kind of get a very good overview of what the field entails. Apart from that, the last kind of module was CS Fundamentals. So this is mainly taken by Ganesh, Professor Ganesh, and he talks about all the kind of things that you might require when you want to build a system like this. So he talks about system software. He talks about basic programming languages. Then he taught about SQL. He taught about file systems, database, everything about it. So evaluation, I really liked the evaluation of the course because it was very, it was not rote learning at all. So, it was very application based. Whatever you learned through the modules, you kind of had to apply it to real life situations. And I really liked that. And again, there was a project and that was open-ended. So yeah, you could pretty much use your imagination to do anything. And so this was pretty much what the first course was. And this is a mandatory one for the minor. The next two courses that I did were from the CSE department. So KCDH has this thing where, you can, I'll talk about it later during the logistics, but then you can do courses from a variety of departments apart from the in-house courses that they have. So I have mainly taken courses from the CS department because I'm more inclined towards the analytics part of it, not the bio part of it. So yeah, so in CS 631, it was implementation techniques for RDBMS. And the course content is basically, it builds up on what a UG DBMS course looks like. So it's based on Postgres, and it talks about, a lot of the stuff. I have mentioned the exact topics over here. And query processing optimization is something that, I felt it's very, it can be applied to a lot of fields apart from, people who actually go into system software. Because I, during my internship, I kind of, the internship that I'm currently doing, I was speaking to a few of the people who were into the DBMS, the database part of my firm. And, somehow I got myself thinking, because of all the knowledge that I'd gained through this course about query processing, I was kind of thinking about how, you can optimize queries and, make them run faster and stuff. So that's how I really got into the systems thinking part of it. Maybe I might not go into this field, like into the RDBMS field, but somehow it gets you a lot of insight about, what a big, huge database system can be. And, you kind of think in that manner. So that's why I really like this course. Exams, again, for most of the CS courses, they're very, very conceptual based, and there's nothing like rote learning. So that was also good. And it required a deep understanding of whatever the professor had covered throughout the course. And so I had not done a UG DBMS course, but I would advise everyone to kind of do the UG DBMS because I know I had a lot of problem trying to cover up with stuff. So this is something I'd advise. And again, there was a project component, and it was actually, thinking about features that we can extend in Postgres. So it was pretty aligned to the real world. So that is something I really liked. And the last course that I did was by Professor Abirde. It's an introduction to machine learning, CS419, pretty famous in the institute. And for good reason, because it's very, very good for the mathematically inclined people, the people who want to go into core ML research. And yes, the course content, I didn't actually put topics here because it's pretty much what an intro to ML course should have. It talks about the main algos in ML, main algos in DL. And one thing I'll say is that, if you want to go for a more implementation type of thing, probably DS303 is a better option. If you want to go to the math side, CS419 is really good. Again, DS also has maths, but it's a little lighter maths than CS 419. That's all I'd say. And again, evaluation, like most CS courses, it requires very deep conceptual understanding. When I say that, I kind of want to say that you can't do it one night before the exam. So just to be very clear about that. And yeah, again, there was a project, and project is basically implementation. All the programming that we did in this course was through assignments. We didn't really have our professor teaching us about the programming part of it. So he basically taught the maths. So this was all the courses that I've done till now. And yeah, so my motivation and future prospects. So my motivation basically is that I am very interested in the field of healthcare tech, mainly because I feel it's a very, very booming field. And obviously you might have learned, it was a very recent news about how Google AI has done this thing where they can predict heart diseases through eye scans, and that's really something I was very, very excited about. So yeah, I feel it's a booming field because healthcare tech, it has a lot of the field of healthcare, it has a lot of legacy tech. So, and that legacy tech, obviously it needs to change with the times, and that's a very good opportunity for us as engineers, and that's what really excites me. So that's why, plus I was introduced to this field because my mom and sister are dentists, so we are pretty much into the, I'm half an engineer, half a medical, because of whatever they discuss at home. So that's why I was very interested in the field. And future prospects, again, I'll talk about it in the advice, but it's like KCDH, when they give you these minors, they give you a whole package of networks, and everyone in the KCDH team, they're very, very approachable. So anything you want to do in the healthcare tech field, they have the network for it. You can approach them anytime. So that's why I really like that concept of applying tech to a particular field like healthcare. And yeah, that was pretty much my motivation. Plus it gave me the option to do courses from departments like CS and statistics and all. So it pretty much covers all my interests as well, and it's a very diverse course portfolio that they offer. So that was my motivation. Apart from that, now the next thing I'm talking about is the logistics of the minor. So I've kind of added a hyperlink to the list of courses. So I'll not be going into the detail, but there are basically like 3 baskets of courses apart from the DH302. So 3 baskets. The first basket is like for the BB inclined people, the bio inclined people. They have courses from BB, from in-house DH courses and stuff. Then the next basket is the healthcare informatics and analytics. This is what I have done courses mostly from, the CS department, EESI department. Then the third thing is for people who are more interested in the policy side of it, the ethics side of it. There are courses from policy studies from HSS department in this basket. And it's like the students who want a minor, they have to complete courses from at least 2 out of the 3 baskets. Apart from that, 1 compulsory. So it's like 1 compulsory plus 4 courses from 2 of the baskets. So total 5 courses. Now there's one component that you can do a research project for 6 credits instead of one of the 6 credit courses. So instead of 1 course, you can do a research project under one of the professors. So this is basically how the structure looks like. I'll share the slides so you can kind of look at the list of courses on their website. So that's how it is in terms of logistics. Words of advice, again, I mentioned this before, but KCDH is very, very, very student centric. I remember actually, there was one course which I really wanted to do, but it was not there in the list of courses at the time. So I kind of convinced them that, this course can really help me in the minor and can really help me to kind of expand my knowledge on healthcare tech. And yeah, I mean, I was actually asked about, the course content and stuff, but it was very, very smooth for me to kind of convince them that I wanted to do this course and to kind of tell them that please include this in one of the baskets. And they did actually do that. So it's very student centric. They're very student forward. So you can tell them anything that you feel. Apart from that, one thing is internships. They are very, very focused on getting their students internships if the students approach them. So one of the internships that I done last summer was at ICICI Lombard General Insurance. And I got that through them. So they kind of had that network of ICICI Lombard. So they got me a resume. I mean, they got the company to kind of ask for resumes, and then once we gave the resume, they had interviews and all, and through that I got the internship. So internships are one thing which they are very focused about. So if you approach them telling them that you want internships in the healthcare tech domain, they have that kind of network. And one thing that I've not mentioned here formally, but they're kind of working on that, is partnerships with US universities abroad. So I'm not mentioning that formally here because it's not done formally, but that's one thing they're working on, and those are like big ticket universities. So that, yeah, so that's pretty much what I want to say about KCDH. I have a very positive view about it. So yeah, anything you all want to ask me after this? I think I'm short on time. I'm already overshooting, so I'm really sorry about that. But anything you all want to ask me, I've included my number over here, and I'll share the slides through the speakers. So yeah, feel free to contact me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prakriti.
Right.
So next online we have Kanishk Malkin, who will be talking about the IEOR, that is the Industrial Engineering and Operations Research minor. So yeah, handing on to Kanishk. Just a second. Handing on to Kanishk.
Yeah. I hope I'm audible. I'll
Yes,
share my
yes.
screen. Confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, Kanishk, it's visible.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I'm Kanishk Malkan. I'm a 2B30 in the Mechanical Engineering Department, and I'm pursuing my minor in IUR. So I think some of you might not even have heard of this department. What is IUR? What is its full form? So IUR stands for Industrial Engineering and Operations Research. It is mainly a major department for MTech and PhD, and it is being offered for a minor degree to BTech students. And so, as the name suggests, Industrial Engineering and Operations Research, it has two main parts. So the industrial engineering sort of tells you, it covers the study of your processes, your systems in various industries. These can be manufacturing, healthcare, transportation, services, logistics, anything. And what you basically do here is you apply all your engineering concepts, engineering techniques to optimize something. So, resource allocation, optimize waste, to grow the quality, to enhance the productivity, anything. So, all that is sort of under the umbrella of IUR. And then your operations research focuses more on the mathematical modeling of things. You make a complex model of something, explain that phenomenon, you derive algorithms. And again, the goal is to optimize things. And you use your statistical analysis, your techniques to sort of optimize, because at the end of the day, any engineering problem that you deal is optimization in some way or the other. So it is an interdisciplinary department. It is a recent department, isn't very old. And these days it is a very upcoming thing. A lot of the universities are setting up IUR departments. So why should you pick IUR? So is it going to help you? I mean, of course it is going to help you. That is why people do it. It equips you with various skills. It gives you your problem solving skills. You've got optimization and efficiency. You've got data analysis, how to create models of that, of any particular problem that you're dealing with. You deal with risk analysis, systems analysis, and it is a very versatile minor that will complement any degree that you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're from mechanical like me or you're in CS or something like that. It doesn't matter at all, because this is something that will sort of be useful no matter wherever you apply. Because the things you learn here are sort of, skills that you will use to solve anything that you feel ahead in. So the research areas in IOR, and there are also courses in these domains. There are multiple courses in each of them. There will be a basic course starting with the number 5 or number 6. There will be an advanced course with the number 7 or 8. Maybe some more advanced courses. So again, you can read more on these sort of domains and areas that IOR offers on the website of IOR IIT Bombay. So I will talk about my personal motivation for choosing IOR. So a year ago, when I was at the position where all of you guys are right now, I was again very confused as to what minor to choose. I had no clear preference. So I was lacking, say, chemical. I was considering aerospace, even biology, and data science. So I had to choose between 5, 6 things, and I was really confused. So then I came across IUR. Pehle to I neglected it because it seemed very random. When I found out that it has sort of applications from various disciplines, and it is useful in a variety of fields. It seemed new, it seemed fun. When I went through the courses, there was game theory and all of that. This is fun. It gives you a nice break from your curriculum or the math course that you keep going. So that is one reason I think a lot of people take into account while choosing their minor courses or their minor degree. It is a fun aspect for them as well. And courses that I did, I've done 2 courses, IE501, which is optimization, and IE616, which is game theory. I'll talk about them later. The reason I did this is optimization is at the heart of every problem, as I said. Even if you are not doing a minor, I will highly recommend you take this course as an elective or an ALC. Last year's autumn semester, over 200 people took this course. I think it was a most registered elective in that semester. So highly recommended course, and the skills you learn there will also help you in multiple of other courses. And yeah, one of my sort of main reasons that I often mention to people is that the 2 courses that I've done, both of them are a part of the data science minor basket, which means even at this stage that I'm sitting right now after finishing my second year, I have an option to switch to data science minor, and both of my minor courses will not go to waste. So they are sort of the common courses between IOR and data science, primarily in the IOR minor. However, they are also counted if you want to do a DS minor. So that was sort of something I'd seen while taking my courses. And I have this option to switch later on since I was confused. So coming to so you have usually done that. If I501 is not in the slot 5, 503 will be running in slot 5. Both of these are sort of the most basic courses, and you should, it's highly recommended you start your IE minor with either one of these. Both of them run in the autumn semester. Then you have IE621 or 502 or 611. You can only do one of these, or you can do one of 630 or 603. You can read more about all these courses later on, probably on the IOR website or ASC. But be assured that there is always one course that's running in slot 5. So you will find something to take. Apart from that, you'll also probably find a course in some other slot that is still not clashing with your course slot. So what a lot of people do is they take one course as minor in their slot 5. They take another course as an elective, that is institute elective, or as an ALC that's running in some other slot in the same semester. Later on, they retarget as if they are minor. So you can finish your minor in less than 5 semesters. So talking about some of the past cutoffs, which are also available on Reservin. So these were the cutoffs of autumn and spring sem of 2021, something that I had referred last year. And you can see most of them lie in the range of 7 to 8. Some of them are lower than that. And your 2 courses, 501 and 616, that is optimization and game theory, are the only ones with the highest cutoffs in autumn or spring sem. So because these courses are also sort of basic and they are also very popular electives, as I'll show you later on. So a lot of people take them. A lot of people take them as minor and then retarget as an elective. So the best part about IOR is that professors allow you to take them as electives. Even if you say don't clear the minor cutoff, you can still register for it as an elective. It is open on ASC and later on retarget as a minor. So now coming to IE501, this is a slightly detailed review about the course optimization models. I took it in my autumn semester last year. It was by Professor Malik Arjun. who's one of the most well-known professors in IOR department. He's an amazing teacher, and you'll see him take this course. He's taken this for the past many years. He's an expert in this field. He's also written a book. And one of the best courses to start your minor with. It is very straightforward. The concepts you learn here are very easy to understand, but it is important you attend your classes. Initially, you'll attend classes and you'll realize that for the first two lectures, all they're talking about is your AM, GM inequality you learned in school. You'll be like, this is very easy, I'm not going to attend anything. And you don't realize, but halfway through the course, the pace starts to pick up, the difficulty increases, and before you know it is too late to just catch up on everything. However, you can get a decent grade, 8 or 9, studying a day before the exam. To get 10, to get the A, or sometimes they give ABs as well. You need to study regularly. However, it is very attainable, and the concepts you learn here are also helpful to your core courses. So MA 214 is a math course that I did in my 4th semester, the semester after I took this. And some of the concepts I learned in 501 helped me in my math course. So exam system was pretty standard. So you'll see this in most IE courses. NSEM typically has 50% weightage, midterm has 20%, and 2 to 3 quizzes or assignments make up your remaining 30%. Quizzes, assignments, and even midsem are very straightforward. You can just go through these slides if the professor gives that. But they generally don't give the slides. So you have to attend classes or get your notes from a friend. But if we just go through the class notes, it's very easy to score like 90% of the marks. And some, however, is slightly difficult. And you can see the grading statistics here. They are pretty good actually for an elective, for a course that has over 220 registrations. These are pretty good grading statistics. Again, highly recommended to take this as an elective at least, not entire minor in IOR. Coming to IE 616, decision analysis and game theory. So this had 2 parts. However, most of it was game theory focused. And it was a really fun course. So the first class I remember, a lot of people showed up. And the professor actually just brought some games with him. So there was this huge box full of marbles. You had to take some marbles and then he gave out some game rules. You lay down 21 marbles and you can either pick 1, 2, or 3 marbles. And the person who picks a marble last loses. So in such a game, what would be your winning strategy? What would be the strategy? How do you optimize your chances of winning? Like optimization is everywhere. I'll say that for any course you do, any field you do. How do you optimize your chances of winning? Say I change the number from 21 to 25 and you can pick maximum of 5 marbles. What would be your strategy? Will it change? Will it remain same? So we figured out all these courses, the entire concept by playing some games. And then about the things in the class. And the reference book for this was also okay. And concepts of that course and some of the exams are also. There are no as such hard prerequisites for this. Concepts are easy, but they sometimes tend to get math heavy. The only thing that I sort of felt like about this course was that there was a very particular way of writing your answers. But then that is math. You need to have a proper way in which you present your a systematic way in which you write your solution and you write your entire problem. Even the way you state your problem, that is important. And after that, it came to drawing those game trees and all. Those network diagrams, they look fun and fancy, but they are very peculiar in terms of how you write your answers. So that was something where a lot of the students were heavily penalized. Honestly, I actually had a course project. Course project was, however, to start in a slightly different way. So we had to just write a project report on any topic of our choice that was in the game theory domain. We would pick something that was taught to us and expand onto it. Or we could pick up a topic that wasn't covered in the course, something that's slightly advanced. And it was to be submitted like any course project, but towards the end, after exams. However, half of our exam paper was to write a report, write an answer on your project based on the progress you've done so far. And like most students, you will not begin your project until exams are over. So, exam के आधे marks बस चले गए थे because hardly anyone had begun with the project. The pattern was slightly weird. However, it gave us a lot of freedom into choosing our topics. Grading was slightly worse than 501, I'll say. Fewer A's were given out. However, it's still, I think, about average or slightly better than average grading for an elective. And in that sense, also, it is a fun course. I will recommend you guys take this. 150 students took it. I think initially there were over 200. 30 of them dropped the course within the first week of registration. As I remember. But it is a nice course to get a flavor of game theory and have something fun going on alongside your core courses. These are some tips, some personal tips to keep in mind if you take up IUI. And these are personal from my experience. Might not be completely accurate, but please attend classes. You are seeking that A or AB grade. Well, A ke liye you need to attend classes, and some courses may you won't get an AB without attending classes regularly. If you're not able to do that, then at least get your notes. TAs are very helpful. Be in touch with them. Attend tutorial sessions. So sometimes instead of a class, the professor will tell the tutorial session. There'll be an assignment instead. Solve the questions before the class. Discuss them in the class method. Ask them doubts. Have a study group where you discuss assignments, projects. There'll be group assignments given out those projects. So even my game theory project was a group project. I however added it individually. If you have a group, then it becomes easier. And yeah, this is a very common thing I've seen with most people that have talked, taken high courses, is that you feel very confident that you can manage it. I mean, you feel that in every course to an extent, but for high courses, you'll feel that slightly more. First few lectures are extremely basic stuff. You're doing the courses with masters and a few PhD students, and so they cover everything right from the basics to the very advanced topics. You attend the first few classes, you are like, AMJ inequality padha hai. Just done this in school. The course is going to be very easy. I'll just get an A very easy. But then exam ke ek din pehle, you will feel very pressurized. Don't underestimate your quizzes assignment. That 10% adds up a lot. And there's an emphasis on the way you present your solutions. So, again, it has good references, excellent works. So, for reference works. And just to conclude my session here, it is very normal for anyone at the end of the course to be confused about your minors. Or you can change your minors later on if you haven't realized that yet so far. People have changed them. Ensure you pick a minor that you will actually enjoy, and it's not something that you're doing, say your friend is doing, or taking it because it's sort of complex. So pick something that you'll enjoy, otherwise it's just going to be another burden. You can read detailed reviews in Reservin and feel free to reach out to me in case of yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kanishk. So moving on to the next speaker on the panel, he is Mr. Swayam Chube, and he is currently pursuing a minor in the mathematics department. So yeah, handing on to Swayam.
Can you hear me?
Your volume is actually a bit low. Can you like maybe hold the mic closer or something?
Hear me now?
Slightly better. Maybe if you start, I'll say if.
All right, sure. So the slides are visible, yeah?
Yeah, they're visible.
Okay. So when we talk about the math minor, so essentially I'll begin with the logistics. You're required to complete 30 credits, you know all of this. And each course in the math minor is 8 credits. So you're required to complete only 4 of them. And there are 5 courses on offer. The main list of the courses are these. So in the odd semester, you have real analysis and basic algebra. And in the even semester, you have Fourier analysis, complex analysis, and general topology. 2 of these have real analysis as a prerequisite. So it's recommended to do that first, but you can also start with basic algebra depending on what seems to pique your interest. So I'll talk about real analysis first. So this is the hardest course that the math department has to offer. So it's essentially MA 109 on steroids. So if you like the course content of MA 109 and want to study it more precisely, this is probably a good choice. So the topics that this covers is topology, sequences and convergence, continuity, differentiation, and integration. But integration is only of the Riemann type. And you're supposed to end with elementary Fourier analysis, but some professors choose to do sequence and series of functions, so like an introduction to functional analysis at the end. So you may see stuff like Arzela-Ascoli or something like that. So that's a bit more advanced than elementary Fourier analysis, but this depends on your professor. This is the reason this course is so hard is because you have to concentrate on writing proofs, and the proofs are not easy, so to speak, because if you don't have any prior experience with writing long proofs, this course will be very heavy. So you're going to have to put some effort into getting a good grade. The main reference that almost every professor uses is Baby Rudin. So that's Principles of Mathematical Analysis by and all the chapters essentially are followed word for word. So if you're reading this book and doing the exercises, you should be fine in this course. So once you get this course done, I think the rest of the courses are a bit easier, so you don't have to worry that much. The second course is Basic Algebra, and this is the most fun course in all the courses that are offered. So you study algebraic objects like groups, rings, and fields. And it has a discrete math kind of flavor. So if you enjoy things like combinatorics, then this is a great choice for a minor course. The grading it depends. Like when I took the course, the grading was a bit strict. They gave out only 2 AAs and the rest were below BBs. But then I guess that depends on the professor. Okay, initially you may think that this course is very easy because the group theory part of the course goes very slowly. But then when you reach rings and fields, the professor needs to pick up pace, and there are a lot of definitions in rings and fields. So he's just throwing terms at you. So if you don't attend the classes, you may find it difficult to study for the exams. So be sure to attend the classes in at least this course. And the reference for this is Abstract Algebra by Dummett Foote. Again, this is dependent on the professor. Some professors use other references, but this mainly covers everything that's required. The next course we have is General Topology. So general topology, the main idea of general topology is to abstract stuff that you will see in real analysis. And that's why it has MA 403 as a prerequisite. So the first section of MA 403, you will deal with elementary topology. And general topology will essentially abstract on those concepts. So if you're familiar with real analysis, then general topology should be easy enough for you. If you didn't do that well in real analysis, I'd recommend revising a bit of real analysis before this course begins. That'll help you get a good grade and so on and so forth. Yeah, but essentially, general topology just boils down to set theory. Most arguments are set theoretic arguments, and after a point, a lot of constructions in general topology also work in axiomatic set theory, and there's a nice interplay of those. So yeah. But general topology is mainly a language that you need to learn in order to do other stuff. So topology is used widely in other fields like algebraic geometry, or even Galois theory to point. So infinite Galois theory also contains topology. So it's a prerequisite for a lot of higher math. So if you are really interested in higher math, you should take this course seriously. And the recommended reference, and every professor uses this, is Topology by James Moncrief. You will only need to do the first half of this. So say up to chapter 5 or something, because that's up to the Tikhonov theorem. So that's the only content of the course. Of course, on ASC, the syllabus that's listed is much larger than what's actually covered. It's not possible to cover that much syllabus. So as long as you're comfortable with the contents up till chapter 5, you should be fine in the course. And okay, the last two are complex analysis and Fourier analysis. I have not taken any of these, but I've heard a few things from some of my friends, and I've taught myself complex analysis. So the main idea is complex analysis is just real analysis on the complex plane. So it should be harder, but it's not actually. There's a lot of pathology that's involved in real analysis, which does not transfer onto complex analysis. So in complex analysis, things are much nicer. So you don't have to worry too much about the proofs. It mainly you'll have a set of theorems and you'll have some set of tricks. So as long as you know both of these, you should do well on the test. And yeah, there are some very beautiful results in this area, which you can read up on. The main reference for this is usually Complex Analysis by Stein and Shakarchi. And the other one is Conway's book, although I wouldn't recommend it for someone who's not done real analysis before, because Conway assumes you have a very good background in real analysis. So once you take real analysis, you can then read that. Then you should be able to read through it very easily. Fourier analysis, I haven't done at all, so I really can't say much about this. But if you've done MA 403, you can pick up Stein and Shakarchi's book on Fourier analysis. It uses a Riemann integral throughout, but I've heard from a person who took Fourier analysis last semester that they needed to use the Lebesgue integral. So you may want to look into the Lebesgue integral before the course begins, just to be more comfortable with course content. Although the measure theory is not explicitly written down as a hard prerequisite, but it's good to know some ideas from measure theory, like LP spaces and all of that stuff. That should help you throughout this course. Yeah, so that's mainly what I had. These are the technical details of the math minor. And as for why I decided to take the math minor is because I am interested in math and I want to pursue it, as a graduate topic. So I recommend someone to take the math minor only if they are really that interested in math. It's not something that you can study for one day before the test. You have to attend all classes, you have to do the tutorials, and you have to have a level of interaction with the professor to actually gain insight onto what the course content is. If you are willing to devote this much time and effort to the course, then I'd recommend to take the math minor. Else you'll just sit in class, you'll be lost, and you'll probably end up hating math. So that's not what you want to do. So yeah, that's what I had. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Hey, Swam, we'll encourage the questions to be put in the chat. So
Oh yeah, sure.
please stay along. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Swam.
Yeah, that's mainly what I had.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next speaker, he is Agnipratham Nag, and he is currently pursuing a minor in the Computer Science and Engineering department. So yeah, handing over to Agnipratham, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, can you please hold the mic a bit closer? I feel
Yeah, is it better now?
yeah, it's much better. Yeah.
Okay, cool. One sec, I'll share my screen. Cool. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, Hi guys, my name is Agni and I'm a third year student in the physics department, pursuing a minor in CS. And today I'll talk to you guys about, figuring out whether CS would be a good minor fit for you or not. So the topics I'll go over today mainly are, what are good signs that, you might enjoy this minor? What will make the minor a good fit for you, or what might be the reasons you might not like the minor? And then I'll tell you a little bit about, what happens in the courses and so on. And I'll talk about how I've enjoyed the minor. So why would this minor be a good fit for you? Naturally, if you've enjoyed CS1 101 in your first year, and you're eager to learn more computer science, you had that basic taste and you want to know what's happening in the field, naturally CS minor is the way to go. It's also a very fun experience for someone who's into problem solving, like those kind of riddles and all, where you're giving out candies to kids, and you have to ensure these many people don't cross these many candies or something like that. So in those situations, if you're someone who enjoys something like that, the minor is a great fit for you. But you also have to keep in mind that the minor isn't about sitting and doing these riddles. Sometimes you need to write proofs about them in great detail. So you need to be comfortable with the fact that a lot of the minor is pen and paper theory. There's almost no programming. Okay, you shouldn't walk into the minor thinking that you're going to get to do coding every semester for 5 semesters straight and get a minor degree, because that's not what happens in it, right? So you shouldn't have these misconceptions, but keep in mind that whatever I'm stating isn't a hard rule or anything. It's just a broad broad requirement or of sorts to give you an idea that okay, this minor is a good fit for me. You shouldn't feel discouraged or anything if a sudden bullet point didn't perfectly match you. So don't worry too much also. Now, what is the situation where the minor not might be a not so nice fit for you? If you're someone who isn't interested in studying computer science, you haven't had that sense of fascination in CS 101 with the material that you've learned, but you're someone who wants a coding job in the future. You want to be working as an engineer in a tech role in some sort of company, and you think that taking a CS minor is the route to getting you that job, then I would advise you to not take the minor, because landing those roles does not require you to take the minor. It requires you to solve all these, data structures and algorithms problems, which is a course in the minor, but it's not something that you should take the minor for. The practice that you need to do to get one of these jobs is something that everyone does on their own. It's not something that the minor teaches them. Do you get me? So if you're someone who just wants a tech role and is not interested in learning CS as such, it's totally cool. The minor might not be the best thing for you to do. But that being said, if you still want to explore CS, minor is always there for you. There are also some people who really want IITB CS on their resume in some form, even when they're not interested in CS. So they just take up the minor and then have a really hard time. So I really wish you don't do that, because that would be, very bad way of going about things. So again, what I'm stressing on is just see how eager you are to learn the material. Look at your experience with CS 101. Even if you've had a bad experience, even if your grade was a bit bad, try to look past that and see if you like learning the material, and take that as a good sign to maybe pursue this. I'll give you an overview of what you learn in the minor. It's basically more or less just theoretical computer science, not as much applications of it as you would like. You learn about everything on pen and paper. You learn about algorithms a lot. You learn about, basic problem solving algorithms in the DSA course. You learn about machine learning algorithms in the ML course. So that is a big chunk of the minor. You learn about how these algorithms work and how you would code them and tell a computer to execute them. And again, not a lot of programming, so please don't have that misconception in your head. But that being said, you gain a lot of really good quality foundational CS knowledge. At the end of the day, you are still getting, good quality IITB CS knowledge, right? And this puts you in a good position to pursue, anything in the tech domain or even higher studies in, computer science, if you do, nice, strong, relevant projects and electives. So if you are not in CS, but you want to carve out a career in CS, this is a good option to, take the minor and then go along that path. These are the courses that are offered in the minor. I've not listed them out in the autumn versus spring semester, but I'll just tell you. So in your next semester, you will have to choose between logic for CS and computer networks. These are, the two courses with which the minor opens, and they have low cutoffs, in the 7.5 neighborhood. Only CS 213 goes into the early 8 points. But I think overall everything's in the 7-pointer range. So it's logic for CS, computer networks, DSA, introduction to ML, and DAA, which is, the sequel to DSA, and discrete structures, which is basically like, math for CS kind of course. I'll tell you a little bit about my experiences, not too much detail, because I don't want to go into the details which might not even repeat for you. I've taken logic for CS and DSA. Logic for CS, what is that course about? You basically teach a computer how to think, how to reason in a very basic sense. You ask it how to make sense of true and false statements. It's a fun course, and the instructor Krishna ma'am is amazing, which is why I had a lot of fun in the course. And DSA, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but DSA is a very popular topic because it determines selections for tech jobs and tech internships. And so in this course, they basically give you the theoretical basics of, what is there to learn, how you organize data, and how you operate on that data to solve problems. Okay, so that's a very basic overview I'm giving you of the two courses. I'm not going into too much detail because these details might not even repeat for you. Detailed reviews are anyway available on Reservin if you're interested in that. All in all, just try to see if you match the, the qualities or whatever you want to call it, what I described for a person to want to take the CS minor. At the end of the day, it's not like you make a 100% informed decision to take the minor. It's largely based on curiosity. So don't try to reason it out all the way till the end. Just see if you think you're interested in learning and go for it. Even if you make a mistake, you can take a different minor next semester. So not that big of a deal. I'll tell you about my experience. Again, I won't go into too much detail. Basically, I had the option to branch change, but I didn't want to because I didn't like E and I was scared of CS and the RG there. But I still wanted to study CS, which is why I took the minor even though I was in EP. And after taking the minor, I actually had a good experience. Like I said, the prof was good and I enjoyed logic quite a lot, which is why I ended up doing projects in logic, and slowly I drifted away from physics and towards CS. And that was solely because of the fact that I took the minor. And now I'm actually working towards a career which is, entirely focused on CS, and there's no physics in it at all. So the minor has been a great experience for me. It is what is shaping up my 2B career. So I don't have any regrets taking the minor. It's been the best thing that I've done. So I definitely recommend it to everyone else who fits, the things I've mentioned already. Like I said, don't have any misconceptions about what the minor has to offer, and you should be good to go. That's about it. I've not got into too much detail because I don't want to confuse it with the, the itty-bitties. You guys see if you match the things I've told you and then make a decision. Don't worry if you're not 100% sure. Even if you're curious to learn, just go for it. And I'm done. You guys will get my number after the session. If you have any other follow-up questions, feel free to text me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agni. So moving on to the next speaker on our panel, he is Vignesh, who is currently pursuing a minor in the Syscon department. So yeah, handing over to you, Vignesh.
So hello, let me just share the screen. Is it visible, the screen?
It's loading. I guess it might be visible in a few moments.
1 second, like the screen share. 1 second. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's visible, yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you. So hello everyone, myself Ganesh JR. I am a third year undergrad student in the aerospace department. So the last year I have been pursuing a minor in Syscon. So Syscon basically means systems and controls engineering. Like I'll just give a intro about what is it about. Okay. So system is like an object given in an input and we get an output. So there is a mathematical relation between an input and an output. So controls is like a mathematical field that deals with what kind of input should we give in order to get a desired output. So here is like a collection of words that might pop up when you're taking a minor in SysCon, like special emphasis on optimization, which is like the hot topic these days. So let's focus on the branches where SysCon can be helpful. So let's go to the conventionally applied fields like aerospace engineering, chemical engineering, electrical, and mechanical. And these are the less heard of fields where SysCon is helpful, like economics, systems biology, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. I will come to that. Like there is a misconception regarding that. Then there is quantum control. And of course, like the main highlight of SysCon is like robotics and automation. So let's jump into the course logistics. I mean, just like any minor, you have five 6-credit courses, of which 3 are mandatory courses and 2 are electives. So these are the mandatory courses. Like I have given a description of the mandatory courses. Preferred you take the courses in this order. So it will come up in your 3rd semester, the SC 639, 202 in the 4th semester, and 301 in the 5th semester. So I mean, these slides will be shared later. So there's like a short note on what subjects are about. And there are a ton of electives, SysCon electives from which you can choose. Like, I mean, there is not enough time to explore all those. So I have put the link to the website here. Like, actually, the electives are quite unique and interesting if you are into mathematics and all. So other than the proper SysCon courses, these courses can be or are also counted as SysCon electives, 2 chemical engineering courses and electrical engineering courses, like you can see them here. Okay. So some tips and points, like these are based on experiences and personal opinion. So why should you take SysCon? First thing is like if you like applied math, and in kind of abstract sense, especially a linear algebra and calculus, you definitely have interest towards SysCon. And the problem statements dealt in SysCon are kind of unique, like not normal control of like aerospace systems or mechanical systems. It's also related to like a problem of a falling cat, and it's changing shape. I mean, a lot of interesting problems in SysCon. And next thing is, of course, like if you are fascinated about automation, estimation, optimization, like robotics and all, like if you want to optimize some quantity, like in economics and artificial intelligence, it might be used. Of course, like just like the name suggests, if you're a fan of control theory, like SysCon is a great helpful tool. Then another attractive thing about a SysCon department in general is like there are a lot of workshops and conferences that occur. So if you join this minor, I mean, you can get in contact with the profs, like they will invite you to these workshops, and all the workshops are really interesting. Sorry. So some words of caution before you take a SysCon minor. Yeah. So during my time, there was a lot of speculation that SysCon comes under some sort of DS bracket. Like DS is a hot topic that everybody wants nowadays. Earlier I said SysCon has applications in the data science and artificial intelligence field, but it is not directly related to it. Like you won't get what you expect from normal DS course from SysCon. Like, so that is why I told SysCon is not a substitute for a DS minor. Like, it's not something like you would expect a course in DS bracket. Then the next problem thing you have to be wary of is there are 3 mandatory courses I explained below. So the courses actually shares a lot of content, with core courses of electrical engineering department. So it can be repetitive for them, but you are interested in taking the minor and doing the electives. Electives are like out of the box kind of electives. I mean, you can take that, but these three courses may kind of get repetitive. And last thing is like it's the main attractive thing, and also the thing you should be wary of. It's math heavy, like intense math there in Syscon. So I mean, some question and answer with some samples. So I mean, I was not a big fan of control theory initially, so I had a bit of skepticism, like should I take systems and controls? So I later realized like application of Syscon doesn't remain limited to control theory. Like it can be used to model any phenomenon using certain set of mathematical tools, like modeling some kind of instability or in combustion and all. Like it's used in other parts of core field also, especially the mathematical tools. So next question is, are there any prerequisites for taking the minor and the order prerequisites? But they're part of your core courses in the first year. You don't have to worry about them. So the prerequisite for each Syscon course is the previous Syscon course in the order. So suppose you want to cross-cut the order and take some other courses, you can nail them and convince them that you know the content. Like a lot of people have done that. Now about the teaching in Syscon, like this is a personal opinion. Like teaching is kind of average in overall sense. And there is no time for like questions. Like final word of advice or questions. Like first is a disclaimer. Like these are my personal opinions. Second thing is like in IIT you have some sense of academic freedom, especially the upcoming batch. So feel free to explore the academic freedom rather than being overwhelmed by it. Like don't worry if you have selected the wrong minor or wrong course. You still have time to change and time to explore. So enjoy the upcoming academic years. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vignesh. So moving on to our next speaker, Rhythm Ranasaria, and currently pursuing a minor in IDC, that is the Industrial Design Center. So handing over to Rhythm.
Could you please check if I'm audible?
Yes, Rhythm, you are audible.
Yeah, cool. I'll just screen share. Just so hello everyone. I'm Pratabhrana Surya and I'm listening, and if you want to dive and just explore them in detail, then it's a good minor for you. Also, design thinking is something which is just applicable over a lot of fields, and the courses here really help you develop your design thinking skills. Also, I mean, if you compare the classes to how the core courses classes happen, here the lectures are really chill. When I say that, you won't even feel like you are going to the class and you are studying anything. So, and the level of interaction here is also really good due to the small class size. So, if those are some things that you look for in a minor, then design minor is a good choice for you. Now, coming to why I took this minor, so I had an interest in fine arts since my childhood, and after coming to INSTI, I got to explore design as well. And also, towards the end of my first year, I started to realize that chemical core is something which I might not enjoy that much. So, design is something which I feel is a good career choice for me. I mostly switched to non-code, going towards the product side, and design thinking and some basics of wireframing and all help there. And now also I feel like if I end up doing a master's, it might be a pure design based thing. So design minor was something which aligned with my interests, and that is why I chose to take it. Now, coming to the general information, on the website of IITC, you'll have the courses for minors listed. Some of these courses are offered in each semester, and you have to complete 5 such courses, that is 30 credits, to get the design minor. The CPI cutoff for design minor is very low, so you can just take that as, no CPI cutoff. And I mean, almost everyone is just free to take up these courses. There are no prerequisites for these. And the theory courses usually run in slot 5, that is like designated, and a lot of minors also run in those. And also, when it comes to design minors, there are no exams, but the evaluation is mostly based on assignments. Now, coming to the courses offered, these courses are listed on the website of IDC, and DE 403 and 405 are the studio projects, and rest others are theory-based courses. Now, the catch is that even though the website lists so many courses for each semester, only a few of them are offered. Like in my third and fourth semesters, only one theory course was offered along with the 2 studio projects. Yeah, I'll get to the studio projects in a while. That's upcoming, so we'll just go over that. Now, till now, I have done 2 courses in the minor, one of them being the E401, and the second is a studio project. So we'll just quickly go over what all is covered in these courses. The detailed review, of course, is available on Reservin. So coming to DE 401, Basics of Visual Communication, as the name suggests, you will get to know about the different modes of visual communication, which includes print media, then there are user interfaces, there are brand identities, signages, logos, etc. So in this course, we just covered all these in brief, and the classes included, in the classes we used to have discussions on comics, we used to interpret film posters, discuss the, how good the user interfaces are for different websites. And in some of the classes, we even had screenings of animated films. Now, the prof for this course was Prof. Prasad Gokil, and the evaluation was based on assignments. So we had around 7 to 8 assignments, and it ended with 1 assignment as our exam. And the grading stats are also mentioned. The class size was pretty small, around, 32 is mentioned, but since there is no compulsory attendance, a lot of people just do not come. And yeah, the small class size actually really helped in the interaction, and the classes were, of course, enjoyable. So this was the first course. The course which I took up in my 4th semester is DE 403, which is a studio project. So under studio project, you just get the opportunity to, explore different design fields, and you can basically approach the different professors in IDC and do a project under their guidance. And you'll be graded based on that project. So the instructors and evaluation, it just varies according to the prof under whom you're working. So for this, you'll have to approach the professors in IDC and talk to them and get a project under them. So if you go to the website of IDC, there they have the professors listed along with their research interests and the areas of their study. Go through that list and then decide on, which all areas interest align with your interest, or something that you find interesting and you want to explore. And then mail that professor, talk to them, and that's how you get a project. Some really common projects under studio project are pottery and weaving, and a lot of students do that as well. Now, coming to my project, I had done a project on product ergonomics. If you want to know about what that is, text me. I would not want to go that too much into detail now. That might just extend this talk a bit more. So, yeah, and in the end, I had to submit a report which with all my observations and the whole study. Now, here the grading scheme might not be something which you like because no AAs were given. The profs are a bit strict, and AB is the highest grade that you can get. So that is for studio project. Now, again, if you like, having a small class size, good interaction, if you're interested in design, want to explore it further. So the courses here are a really good opportunity to do that. And also the classes are pretty chill. And if you are interested in just exploring, might as well take up courses as ALC, if not minor. And again, you have 6 semesters ahead, so you can start with a course, and if you do not like it later, you can switch minors. You can just explore in the first sem, so that is also an option. Yeah, that's it from my side. If you want, I mean, my phone number will be provided to you post this session, and I'll be here for some more time to answer your queries. If there is anything else, you can just text me, and yeah, all the best.
Thank you, Rhythm. So we'll be moving on to the final speaker of our panel, and he's Rohan Kalbag, who is currently pursuing a dual minor in C Mines and CSA departments. So handing on to Rohan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Rohan, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. So let me share my screen. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, the screen is visible.
Okay, so let me start. So I'm a third year student in EE department, so I'm pursuing my BTech. So I'm currently pursuing a dual minor in CSE and C Mines. So I'll just give you an overview of how you can do that and like whether it's worth it or not. So in ITB, it's possible for you to complete 2 minors, and your degree will read out as Bachelor of Technology in XX with a minor in YY and ZZ. So there are many types of YY and ZZ possible, but you need to check out the requirements. So generally, you can do this when most of the courses in the minor are electives, which can be retagged into M later. So for now, I'll be talking about the CSE and C Minds double minor, and it's all about the planning and time management. So if you are able to manage your time well, it's even possible to do a honors plus double minor, as well as triple minor in some cases. Like I've heard of a few dual degree people being able to complete 3 minors in their time. So about the CSE minor, I will not go into depth of the courses, but I'll just tell you I'll give an overview of both of these minors. So in the CSE minor, you will basically be doing the second year or third year core courses of the CSE department. So which will involve theoretical computer science topics like discrete structures, logic, automata, operating systems, networks, algorithms, etc. So they will generally be more involved in theoretical knowledge than the practical ones. So if you are looking for programming only, it's really not recommended. But this is my view personally. So and advantage of doing these courses that they clear your prerequisites for advanced like graduate level courses in CSE department if that interests you and you want to do further research in CS or CS in your future. So also sometimes the second year core course material is often useful for people who are aiming for a career in IT and software, because your internship tests and interviews will be having questions from this. On the other hand, the AI and data science minor, which is provided by the C Minds, it has a huge number of courses. I will not share that. I think you will have that in your booklet, or you can just Google for C Minds basket of courses. And since 3 of these courses are electives, you can do them at any time in your stay at Insti. So it doesn't have to be done every semester as per. So also there are a lot of practical courses here, like you can do lots of working with industry tools, a lot of Python libraries like your sklearn or any kind of reinforcement learning, or all of these libraries you can play with actually in your assignments and your course projects, and you will end up with some really good projects which will help you fill up your resume. So and theoretical courses, in my view, in my experience so far, have not been very very it's not very good, but it's like in hand wavy fashion. So if you want to like really go into the depth of the subject, I wouldn't recommend going to these courses, but there might be exceptions, so you can check out this. So also if you are planning to do a C-Minds IDDP, I'm not sure if it has been introduced. IDDP means interdisciplinary dual degree program. So you do your 4 years in one department and your 5th year DD project happens in another department. So C-Minds offers that. So the courses you are doing in the AI and DS minor will be overlapping with that if you are planning to change into that later. So let me talk about how exactly you can go about doing the dual minor and how easy it is to complete it, how much time is needed, and how you can plan for it. So the CSE department generally requires 5 minor courses. I'm saying minor here because these are the courses which are going to run in slot 5, for which you have to pre-register and not register. So these courses I will refer to as M here, but finally when your degree is over, they will all be retagged to M. So you can either do 5 M courses from CSE, or you can do 4 M courses and 1 elective. Elective can be generally a 6XX or 7XX graduate level course, which is offered by CSE. Similarly, in C-Minds, you have to do 2 minor courses and 3 electives, or 1 minor course and 4 electives. Okay, so that is in the case when you are not doing DS 303, which is a ML course, and you are doing another equivalent ML course from either EE department or CS department. Okay, so when I say electives here, they can be done in any time of your stay and in the institute. So on the other hand, the M courses need to be registered through the slot 5 thing. So in the worst case, if you want to do a double minor, you would need 4 M courses from CSE and 2 M courses from C-Minds. So around 5 to 6 semesters you will require to complete this. And you might have to register for 54 credits in some of the semesters, which is like maxing out. If you want to like even because of your course being very heavy. So in the case of mine in EE department, so the third and fourth semesters are very heavy, but for that reason I only did 1 minor course in each of the sem. Like in sem 3 I did DS 203 and sem 4 DS 303. On the other hand, in sem 5 and sem 6 the core course load reduces, and so I have started doing little electives there. And also I did, from my core side, I worked on the DEs and IEs in these 2 semesters, and I maxed out both of these semesters with 54 credits. So now in my final year I just need to do two more M courses, which I need to pre-register in slot 5, and 2 electives, so that I can complete the double minor. So similarly, according to your course curriculum, you can like accordingly choose your course plan in such a way that you can complete the double minor. Okay, so is it worth doing this, or like why am I doing this? Like for example, so in some sense you're going to make most of your academic stay, so you are going to do a lot of courses, you can explore a lot of topics, and from especially the courses in CSE minor, which are like the theoretical foundation for like graduate level courses, you can explore these courses and focus more on the content, and not worry about your CPI going up or down, because your minor CPI is going to be separate from your main CPI. Another thing is, if your minor course is sometime goes out really well, you get an A or an AP or something, it's possible that they can be tagged as DE or IE later. So this is also another motivation to do, because you're doing so many courses. It's possible that you can get a very good grade in some of these courses, and they can easily get converted to your DE and IE later. Another thing is, this may be for me as such. So sometimes in E department, what happens, some slots will be empty in middle, and it's possible that due to the very large basket of courses that is offered by C-Minds, you can find a course which is running in that particular slot, and then you can optimize your trips to LHC. So you can just reduce going back to hostel and coming again. So accordingly, you can choose some courses like this if you are interested. So another thing is that since you're doing a lot of graduate level courses, 6XX, 7XX, so these will help you in your research later as well, and allow you to get more projects. Also, like if you are not from a technical department as such, like if you are not able to do courses as part of your core, and you want to explore some of these like tech side courses, then I think it's a very good option to do this double minor. Also in E, most of the courses which are offered in C-Minds often can be tagged as DEs. Similarly, I think for CSE, I'm not sure, but this allows you to later convert your minor courses to your DEs and vice versa. Suppose if you had aimed for a course to be a DE and you ended up with a bad grade, but it can be tagged in a minor, you can do that as well. And specifically, some fun day for this is you have to choose better if you choose the instructor over the course content. So if you were to find a course where the instructor is very good, but the content may not be very like not what you are aiming for, but the instructor has a very good teaching experience as per your batchmates and seniors, I would say don't miss out, because you will explore that topic in a very good way, and then you might develop some new research interests. And one more drawback is that there are often very high CPI requirements. So around 8.5 plus should be safe to be registering all of these courses. Otherwise, you can accordingly plan your courses in such a way that generally in your final year or your 7th and 8th semesters, you will have retagging. So you can retag in such a way that your CPI goes up in those particular semesters, and the high requirement CPI courses you can do at the end. And the electives, they don't have CPI requirements, so you can generally register for them at any point of time. So that is basically how you can go about doing a double minor. So I would like to conclude my session and thank you all for listening. So if anybody has any questions, you can ask me, or you can even reach out. I think the people here will share my contact details with you if you are interested. So I hope I was audible. I think
Yeah, you were
somebody
audible.
can confirm. Yeah. Okay. So if anybody has questions, they can actually ask on the chat. Maybe should I stop sharing?
Yeah, you may stop sharing. I feel if someone has questions, they'll definitely ask it on the chat.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Rohan. So yeah, we have formally concluded the reviews part of our session. Just to be clear, we had speakers on management and BSB. However, they couldn't be with here for our session. We will be uploading slides for the management and BSB minors as well. So make sure if any one of you is interested, do check those out. And now I'll hand over to Shravya, the ISA Square.
All right. Can you confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, Shravya.
Okay. All right, guys. Just before we officially conclude this session, I did want to talk about a program which is being newly introduced for your year onwards, which is the Liberal Education Program, this by the Center for Liberal Education. Just a couple of slides I just want to run by you. These are basically just statistics which show how there's a comparison between people actually pursuing a job within their core versus their non-core. And as you can see, there are a lot of people who branch out and do and pursue their higher studies or their corporate jobs in divisions apart from that in which they completed their BTech. So that's basically what the aim of this liberal education program is. Essentially, it's giving you a sort of liberal platform for you to explore all of your interests, and eventually, based on you, once you take courses which you are interested in, towards the end of your degree, you finally get allotted a degree. So basically what it means is that throughout your whole curriculum, there are a set of baskets from which you can pick whichever courses you're interested in. And at the end of your curriculum, based on whichever courses you've done the most in, whichever basket you've done the maximum number of courses in, you get allotted a degree. That way, this program is very liberal in that sense. And these are some sort of advantages which you might relate to if you have applied or if you are thinking of applying for this program, because again, it's liberal, so it might be a better fit for you to explore your interests if you're still not sure about what you want to do. And it's more, you have more freedom in shaping up your own the undergraduate program if you do join this program. These are again the different segments of this entire liberal education program which are offered. So you have natural sciences, engineering sciences, social sciences, arts and design, and you have your own custom concentration where you can mix and match and pick the courses which you like to do and define your own undergraduate curriculum. All right, and this is the process through which we enter. And this year they're planning to keep a maximum of 30 seats for which all of you must have filled a form. The deadline for that form is up till tomorrow night. It's been extended. So I encourage you to still fill the form if you're still considering applying for the CLE program as well. And these are the core courses which you will encounter, beyond which you'll have to take up a lot of electives to complete the program should you apply for it. And again, this is a course structure. It's a little mostly comprising of electives and one core course per semester. And these are again the four major domains: natural sciences, engineering sciences, social sciences, and arts and design. And beyond this, there is an option for you to customize your own degree and eventually obtain the said customized degree at the end of your 4 years. As you can see, there are a couple of statistics as well, and these are available on their website too. All right, again, this is once again listing out the curriculums. And one point to note is, should you choose to branch change to this program, you will receive your final degree as a BS, a Bachelor of Science. It will not be a Bachelor of Technology, because again, this is a very liberal program, very oriented towards exploring and sciences. So do opt for it if you feel like this is the right fit for you and you want to explore more about your interests. And feel free to visit their website and understand more about their program. They have a lot of elaborate reviews and information on their website as well, right? So again, the form for this is still open. The deadline for applying for this program is tomorrow night. So if you're still considering applying for this program, please do and give it a try if you feel like this is the right fit for you, all right? And finally, to conclude, these are our contacts of the Student Support Services team, mine as well as those of my 4 coordinators. You can reach out to us, contact us directly through our mobile numbers, or you can reach out to us on our Instagram handle, or even email us at our email IDs as well. All right. With that, we officially conclude the course information session of 23-24. To all of you veterans who stayed for the past 4 hours, much respect to you all. Thank you all so much. The recordings and the slides will be made available to you over the next couple of days. Do bear with us until then. We hope you've benefited from this session, and we hope that you've taken away a better understanding of what curriculum lies ahead for you all. And again, feel free to reach out to any of us and the speakers as well for any doubts or clarifications that you have. Okay. All the best to all of you. Thank you all so much.